Ba-da-boom. Let's go. Hey, what up, everybody?
Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. Look at this. Hold on. Okay. Question for everybody before we get going. How do we look and how do we sound? Is everything... You guys can hear us right?
Were you saying look at this to me? You
said
look at this.
I said look at this. Look at this. Did I say look at this about them there?
Okay, just
I don't know. Maybe I was talking about something else.
Okay,
Just firing off. All right. What up, everybody? Show is starting now. Let me move some things around. Kyle was on time.
Even though I don't live here anymore.
Even though he moved out. It's official. Last week was... But he was kind of late. Because he got a ticket on the way over here.
Texting and driving.
Oh, no.
And I was even doing something productive.
Yeah,
I was writing nice questions.
But you were at a stoplight, too.
Yeah, and I was at a stoplight. And I didn't even say anything. He's like, I saw you on your phone. And I was like, yeah, you did. Because we looked at each other's eyes and you shook your head in disgust. But he's like, you're not allowed to be on your phone, even at a stoplight. And I was like, yeah, whatever. Just give me the ticket. No, I was super nice. I'm always super nice. Sometimes that helps you get out.
But not this time.
No.
We'll
see if...
I know a guy. I don't know. We shouldn't say anything. It's one of those things you just kind of like...
We won't say anything.
Allude to, right? We don't want to break any rules. You guys will hear that a little later. And... But there's a possibility that we might know someone that can help out. But I don't know. I think that's mainly for fix-it tickets, like tint tickets, broken taillights.
But anyone can do that, I feel like.
Anyone can break your taillight?
Oh, no. I guess that someone...
California, you're not allowed to have your front windows tinted. Yeah. Just FYI. One of the many things you're not allowed to do in California, right? One of the many things you're not allowed to do. Anyway, exciting show. We got some cool stuff. News, maybe. A couple stories. That's great. We are gonna have the two guys that we're gonna have on the show a little bit later have already done a back-to-back marathon on PTG. So if you haven't already watched that, well then great. You're gonna hear it here for some of the stuff for the first time. If you have, please queue up some questions that you might have about the new gambling and paintball. We've got some stuff. I've had a handful of people ask me questions, and trying to dial in what's exactly how that's gonna work and everything. So got a little bit of news bit there about that, and I was just out in Maui for the big game. Scott Kemp came out with me. Funny story about that. We'll get into some of the details without getting too deep in there, and then we're gonna talk. We're getting about a week out from the layout drop.
Yeah, it took like a while, and then it was like all of a sudden it's fast
all
here.
Of a sudden, yeah. They're putting those like teasers up. Also, some Summit Awards news, some actual Paintball Summit news. Not sure if any field or store owners are listening to this, but if you for sure have a field in the Western region or a store, you should sign up and go to the Summit if you're not already planning on doing that. I would suggest showing up into Vegas on Sunday, watching all the finals, the pro finals, the divisional finals, the semi-pro finals, the women's, the kids, everybody. Watch all that day of paintball. Come to the Summit Awards. Everybody here should be doing that if you're in this area. And then stick around for the Summit. Again, to access the Paintball Summit on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, you do have to be a dealer or invited by a dealer or on a field or store. Something along those lines. But lots of cool content to be gathered there. Lots of informational seminars. Also some product drops. Things like that. And really cool. And yes, Billy Casey. So this weekend coming up, we've got practice. Dynasty's got practice against Aftermath, I'm assuming, at ASG, Saturday, Sunday. Where are you guys going to be?
We're going to be at Paintball Fit with Aftershock and Paintball Fit.
Okay, Aftershock and PB Fit. Out at PB Fit. Okay. And then layout drop weekend on Thursday. We're flying up, or Wednesday night, Thursday. Everybody gets in beginning practice that Thursday, the weekend before the event.
Where you guys
going? SAC with Impact. And I think Uprising is coming as well.
Nice.
I hope so. Yeah, Michael, you cannot access the summit. The summit's closed to dealers only. So you've got to be a dealer or invited to the dealer. However, the Summit Awards show on Sunday night is open to the public over 21. I guess if you're 18 and you're accepting and getting an award, Tom says, no, I'm sorry. Someone said we might be able to sneak someone in if they're accepting awards. But I tried for all my young player friends, but I guess it's only like 10% of the league is under 21.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I thought it was way more than that.
The pro league?
No, just the league.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So the median age is like 33 or 34 in the NXL. Also, Las Vegas is the biggest non-World Cup event.
Ever?
Wow. Billy, not this weekend. This weekend, ASG. Next weekend, Sacramento. So all you Dynasty Champs Club members, come on out. And as a reminder for Vegas, if you don't have your pods already, go to Gen X Sports. They've got pod deals. Bags of pods. Actually, I have it up here somewhere. Right here. Let me put the link. I'm just going to throw the link in here for y'all. Gen X is a supporter of the show. They rock. They're also implementing a biodegradable element into the pods, so the pods will eventually break down much faster than normal plastics would in landfills.
Nice.
So all those the pods where the lid breaks off, or you get shot in the pod and it blows a hole through it, like when Oliver shot me in the pod in the 1-on-1, blew a hole through it, shooting hot. When you toss those, hopefully you throw them in the trash can, but sometimes leave them on the ground. I've seen it.
I've definitely walked across like in 50 yards, so I'm like, oh, looks like a nice pot over there, and then I see it's missing the lid. I'm like, oh, and I leave it there.
So I got a funny story about that actually in a second. But they've got that. I don't know if it's implemented just yet, but they're adding that into the pod, so that's cool. Everybody who's trying to help out the environment, I'm all for that. It's a funny story. So Scott and I, we just played Maui Legends last weekend. I'll just jump straight into this one before I get to the other sponsors here. Wolf someone got sick. I think Wolf or his girlfriend got sick, couldn't come. Zyzik pulled the plug, so Ghost Sports was supposed to come and film us. Thankfully, they didn't, because it wasn't much to capture. So I was like, oh man, I'm in the house all by myself, so I've got some spare free time, and Camille couldn't fly out there, Sloan couldn't come, so I'm like, man, I'm gonna be all by myself. So I just texted a couple people. I was like, hey, Rodney, if you and Jake want to come, we got a place for you.
Yeah.
And Jake was like, it was a little too much for him and his son. They ended up practicing out there with Omega, and then. And so I was like, well, Scott, he was just Camille's like, why don't you invite Scott, right? He just was talking about wanting to go surfing. I'm like, oh yeah, sick. It's gonna be a little windy.
Yeah.
Pretty big north swell in the water, but whatever. I'll see if he wants to come. We'll be able to find some waves somewhere. So I invite Scott. Scott's like, all right, cool. Tickets from San Diego round trip were like $300, and he bought his on the Monday that we left. We left on Wednesday. I think I had to change my flights. I changed all my flights. Same thing. So pack up our boards, pack up our paintball gear, fly out there. And we're on the flight, and Scott texts me and he goes, hey man, do you have any Advil? I've got this pounding headache for some reason. I don't know why. I'm like, nah, you can just ask one of the flight attendants. He's sitting in row 32 of 32. So trip's starting off good for him. Back corner by the bathroom. And we get off the plane, and he's like, dude, I don't know what happened, but I hadn't eaten before I got on the plane, and I was like, maybe that's the worst headache I've ever had, but I feel better now. It's like I kind of body, I got sweating. Sickness? And I was like, you must have had altitude sickness, but you've flown a bunch, right? But maybe I was like, you got a lot less body fat than you're used to.
Yeah.
You're pretty lean. You're pretty jacked right now.
I think he had done a photo shoot that week too, so maybe he was
That's what I'm thinking.
Because I know he gets really dehydrated from those. Cuts out all the water. So his muscles are popping.
So, anyway, we land, and I'm checking the waves, the wind, and I'm like, the north might be better. I hit up Jesse, Mr. Maui Rockstars here in the building watching right now. I hit him up and I was like, hey, where are the waves at? How are the winds? He's like, oh, it's offshore, and it's gonna be smacking over at this one spot. He's like, you got to find a good spot and blah blah blah. And I'm like, all right, Scott, what do you want to do? I'm like, I'm texting my buddy. He says it's gonna be macking over here on this one side, and he's like, oh, I don't feel great, but I'm just gonna get a little bite here. He didn't tell me that he hadn't eaten since the night before. We landed at 3 p.m., so he just
He's on like a 24-hour fast.
No, he just doesn't eat breakfast. I found this out too.
Yeah.
And then he just didn't eat anything all day. And then he had like some crackers and Mediterranean plate on the plane. So he's like starving, but he didn't tell me that. So
I feel like if you don't eat breakfast, it's okay to eat breakfast if you haven't ate for the last,
right.
Last
like breakfast isn't going to kill you,
13
Scott.
hours.
Yeah, eat some carbs, bud. And so anyway, he's not feeling great. We go paddle out. It was not very good. It was pretty cold and windy, but it was like howling offshore. Really hard to like find some waves out there. Anyway, so he's not feeling great. And he's like, dude, I just need to go back and I need to go to bed. So he falls asleep, wakes up the next day. He's like, oh, I feel much better. Must have just been like altitude thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we, at this point, like there's this massive spike in the waves, right? It was like flat. And then all of a sudden it was like, there's a surfable window from like 10 a.m. to noon. And then it goes from like 4 to 6 feet to 8 to 12 to 12 to 25 feet within like a 3-hour period. And we're like, well, we better get out there because we don't want to get stuck on this outside of the thing. And we talked to like 3 different people and they're like, yeah. It should be good. It should be good up there at the bay. Like, just be careful because, it'll come quick.
Was that when you guys, because I saw on your story you posted like, oh, it's 11, it's like 3 to 5. And then 11 to 12, it goes up to like 6 to 7 foot, and then it was like 25, 30 foot.
And so now we pull up to the spot exactly that day, right? And I'm getting text messages, he's getting text messages, and everybody's just kind of like, oh, to be sick, yeah, just it'll come in quick, so just get your time in, right? Or be ready.
Come in like
well, it'll be
the swell will come in quick
like that. It was like that.
It sounds like that time in Bali when
yes, that's exactly
Troy
it.
took me out and it was like,
and if you don't know, if you're not planning it, and you're like kind of having a good time, and then all of a sudden you're like,
just like
look
3.
There's an outside, you're scrapping, and it's not like you see it out there.
It's like a 4-story building just randomly coming.
Yeah, that's
like,
what happened. Yeah, where'd that come from? And you're scrapping. So basically, we go out and we don't even know how to get. It's like off this cliff.
Yeah.
Right. You're like staring on this cliff, and we're like, it's kind of surfable. It's kind of windy. There were like there's one other guy watching it. No one's in the water, and we're like, well, we don't even know where to line up if we went down there to begin with. So we sit there and we're waiting at least for one local guy to walk down this trail. And we're like, okay, that's where we need to get it. So we get our crap on real quick and we pin it down there. We like scramble down these rocks and we're like, I think you went in over here. And like, so we paddle out. There's 4 people in the water. It's me and Scott and 2 other guys, 2 locals.
Yeah.
And then like 2 other guys come out, and we scored. We had a blast. Like it was sick. But you just like when you don't really know the wave and you don't have anybody. The guy was kind of cool.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, that was a sick one. But like, you're in like kind of a hostile environment a little bit, and then you're staring at this rock, and it's like you're reading about it. It's like, okay, there's the cave underwater that can suck people and boards under. Then there's this gigantic rock pile. Then there's the inside bowl that's like so shallow when you're paddling, your knuckles will hit. And you're like, it's like kick out this time. And so we're trying to read all this stuff and think about it, and like, okay, well, is this the section? Where's the section? And we're surfing Honolulu Bay. And yeah, that's exactly what happened, Jesse. So, and it was thick. It was like it was
sheesh.
It was like, I think the smallest wave I caught was 6 foot, maybe the biggest one, probably 10 foot. And it was like heavy, big waves. It was so fun though. It was like rad, but it was kind of sketchy.
Yeah.
Because it was super windy, and it was like, there's this little extra flop on the top of the water. So you really had to throw yourself over the edge and to get to your feet. And it was like a little hairy. We got a lot of waves. Everything was good.
Scott
got yelled at. Scott did all right.
All right.
Scott did all right on that one. He was okay, but it was freezing too. Like I was wearing a full top, and like we were shivering.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Scott was wearing his wetsuit. I think you might have seen the picture. Top and hood. In the car. So like, if you don't want to stick out in your Buick Enclave when you're trying to like, pretend like you've been in a spot, you definitely don't drive to the spot with your hood up on your wetsuit. Anyway. So yeah, then all of a sudden, we're sitting there at the spot, and I'm like, it's getting a little bigger.
Yeah.
Like, I pulled into a pretty meaty one, and then all of a sudden, this wave comes on the outside, and we're like, oh, and we're scraping to get through it, and it just smokes us. And now
how big
Scott
was
and I don't know, it was like, it was over 10 feet for sure, because we could barely. I didn't get underneath it, and we just got kind of like, and there's no shore. When you get washed up, like hopefully you don't get washed up, but like luckily it wasn't another one, because there's this gigantic like dagger of a rock pile that you're basically paddling at. You're paddling at the rocks. The juxtaposition here on it is like the bigger the waves, the further back out it breaks. So the kind of technically safer you are from the rocks.
Yeah.
So the smaller it is, the closer it breaks to the rocks. So like you want to be kind of in that zone where you're
sweet spot.
Yeah, where it's not so big, because like if I were there and I was able to surf it over and over and get a hang of like where to sit and everything, like 10 foot, 12 foot is like, it's manageable. Like I could do that. And if I was like more confident day 2, 3, 4, something like that, then maybe if we had the bigger equipment, I'm surfing a small board.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not, you know, it's like trying to play a big game with a 45 tank. You know, it's just like you can kind of do it, but it's not going to really work. You know, playing the corner in like a long layout game. You know, I've always tried to figure out how to equate it to paintball. But yeah, man, and all of a sudden these big sets come, and we're not exactly sure how you get in either, because there weren't a lot of people out, and like a couple people had gotten in, and we're like, dude, I think it's over there. You gotta like, don't hit that exposed reef here, and and then Scott's like, we need to go in. I'm like, I'm down, and so we like try to like paddle over to this corner, and we made it in fine, but we're like, oh cool, Scott's feeling better. We'll just come back tomorrow. It'll be sick because it's supposed to be getting a little bit better tomorrow. And then Scott woke up at about 4 a.m, and it was game on for him, or game over, shall I say. He had a stomach flu.
Oh,
and so
that's what it was?
The headache and the body aches, yeah. So he was out of commission. He was going 1, 2, and 3 all day, all morning.
I know someone else was in San Diego that just got it.
Yeah. I got a couple people just got it out of San Diego. Yeah. I've managed to dodge it, luckily.
Same.
But he got work. He was going through it, and we drove all the way out there anyway. He like drank a bottle of Pedialyte, a bottle of Pepto-Bismol. It smelled pretty awful in our house that we had. I had to open up every single door and window in that place to air it out. So he was going through it on Friday. He was going through it. Then we drive all the way back up to the bay. It was perfect. A little bit bigger, but like absolutely glass perfect. And there was a surf competition going on the next 2 days. So now we couldn't surf either one of the next 2 days.
Oh, man.
And then he's like, I think we should just go for that hike. And he was like sitting in the car, falling asleep on and off. And then I pull up to where we're going to go hike. And he's like, I think I'm just going to stay in the car. And I'm like, all right, dude. I mean, it's like an hour and a half drive everywhere we went.
Yeah.
And so I went for a hike for about a 2-hour hike and by myself, and it was pretty sick. It got a little wet. And that was Scott's experience. Then we played the big game the next day.
How do you fare out there?
He was feeling better for big game day. That's the funny thing, actually, about the pods. We didn't have any pods, so we were like scrounged a couple. Jesse gave me some. I got a couple from a couple guys there, and so we each had 2 pods. And I found a broken pod, and I'm like, screw it. So I just put some tissue paper in the top of it, and I stuck it in my pack straight up. And I was like, whatever, we got 3 pods, it'll work.
Yeah.
Finally got someone out there, and he would play one, and he'd come back and like take his jersey off and sit down. He's like, I'm so drained. And then he'd play a second round, and he'd come back and like another layer of clothing's off. And at the third time he went out, he came back in. He just had everything off, and he was sleeping on the bench. And then he's like, dude, we gotta get out of here. Come on, let's go. I'm like, it's noon, dude.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna leave right now.
Yeah.
He was hurt.
You're like, that's why I came here.
Yeah, I came for this thing.
Yeah.
No, it was sick though. Like there were 250 people out there. It's a 2-day event. I played on the blue team. We kicked everybody's ass. I jumped over to the red a couple times, but I made sure I finished on the blue team so that way I could actually win one of these things for once. But yeah, man. Ryan left him dying on the pallets on Saturday. Yeah, he was just.
I saw that picture. You sent to me.
He was just sleeping.
Someone's too was just saying.
And then he's like, "Dude, where have you been?" I'm like, "You've been sleeping for the last hour. I've been chatting with people.
Where you been? Dream
I'm hanging at you, yeah." So yeah, our pod. I didn't bring any pods out there because I figured everybody would have some pods. Like big game, no one had pods. And then Sunday, I was loaded up. I was loaded up for Sunday. But yeah, he was hurting big time.
Feeling pretty big out there?
Yeah, it's pretty maxed out at 250 people. I mean, it could go for a little bit. It's cool. They have this huge 2-story structure, or the 2nd-story structure, and it's like connected, and you can kind of like fight on the 2nd story, and then like get behind guys.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I was I was a sniper from above, man. I would just get up there and I would just be letting people have it. It's so fun up in the top.
I think you posted a video.
I posted a video on the first year that I went up there. Because what happens is you go up to the top and like no one else wants to go upstairs for some reason. So there's rarely anybody up there. Yeah, well, you can't get shot underneath. No. It's like you don't, I don't know. It's just like something about being upstairs. People just don't like going up there for some reason.
Just scared
so
that maybe
I would go up.
like...
Well, because the best part about it is it works like this for most big games, right? When you get to like a spot, if you're pretty far up, there'll be guys as they push up, they'll kind of like get to the side and you'll kind of like shoot one or two of them in the side. And if they don't know you're there, then those guys walk off and it's not like they walk up and go, hey, someone's shooting at us from over there. The guy behind him is like, ooh, that guy's spot's open. So he'll just run to it and then he'll get shot. Oh, and then he'll walk off. And then the next guy will just fill it. So no one knows where it's coming from. So I'm just upstairs. Just basically I'd play until I ran out of paint.
Yeah.
You know? And so it was great, man. I loved it. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, I tried to get kids to come up there. There was one guy with a pump that always came up with me. And then one guy was that you? I think it was Sean actually kind of jumped up there with me a lot. And it was pretty funny. Yeah, dude, I love those big games.
Oh, yeah.
You wouldn't like this one, though.
No.
Mm-mm. I know that you don't really like many big games, but the reason I don't think you'd like it is because, like, you can't really run and send it out there. Because there's these, like, lava rocks that are kind of, like, staggered in the ground. So when you try to, like, go for, like, a heavy dive or slide, you'll hit one of those things, and it'll kind of, like, ruin your day. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. It'll, yeah, you cut Mario. Yeah, you can see it, Kyle. You're like, no, nope. I'm not playing that. I'm not playing that game. No way. But let me put, actually, I gotta put Sean's name on here. Welcome, Sean. Thanks for the support, for jumping in and on the mega support status wheel. We really appreciate that. We're actually about to get, I think probably next month, we're gonna buy a new mic. This one's a little dusty. We sound good? We sound all right? No one said anything yet. Oh, Eric's here. Yeah, Nate played.
Okay.
I got a video of him. He's like, no, I don't know if I'm going to play. I don't have any gear. I'm like, I've got all of Scott's gear. What's your excuse? He's like, no, I mean, I don't want to borrow it. Like, I don't want to mess your stuff up. I'm like, well, it's not mine. It's Scott's stuff.
And then he only uses it once every 3 years.
Yeah, and I had a brand new pair of shoes that I gave Scott. He wore once. And Nate's like, I don't want to get those. I'm like, they're not his and they're not mine, so just put them on. He's like, I don't have socks. I'm like, oh, you can borrow socks. Like, I don't know. What do you? Don't make excuses. Stop it. And he was gonna try to play with flip flops. So Nate's from Black Ops Paintball, and he was trying to make every excuse imaginable not to play, and then he played and he loved it.
Nice.
Yeah, I gave him a HORMESIS headband. He wore it to lunch afterwards. He didn't take any of his gear off, but he was filthy. Yeah.
Yeah, he said.
Yeah.
Only place knows that literally grows rocks. Sorry.
Yeah. That was a cool. I mean, I love that event. It's such an awesome experience because again, you're right across the street from the beach, right? The weather was perfect on Saturday and Sunday, and it's like just everything about it is just it's a great vacation spot. So they do it every 2 years. So if you missed it this time, try to remember this conversation in 2026, and we'll revisit the whole situation. But I still think also big games are really important, and that's something that one of the things I'm going to talk about at the summit is just kind of like, if you can convince guys, if you're a tournament player, right, you want to jump in and play these types of events and big games. You want to play walk-ons every so often. You got to ask Alex FRAIGE, right? And one of the reasons that you can thank for like our longevity is because we have so much fun playing paintball, and you break it up every so often by just like racking up the kills. And I'm not saying like bonus balling people, but you're like, you play some walk-ons and you're probably, everybody watching this is probably really good at walk-ons.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the goal isn't to like make them not want to come back. You don't want to shoot them a bunch, but you just want to like, just rack up the kills. Like you're one here, one there, like doing all this stuff. You don't need to like go out there with the mentality like you're playing paintball in the finals at World Cup, right? Against someone who cheated you. That's not the mentality behind playing big games.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. You just shoot a couple people here and there, and then the great thing about it is it allows you to kind of like, and I was explaining this to Brady Rivera came out. I'm like, start like commanding the forces. Because most oftentimes, if you play tournaments, you're probably better than most of the players that are out there playing walk-ons, right?
Yeah.
And you can like get confidence in controlling the field and being that quarterback, right? By like telling some kids who don't really know how to play paintball or just kind of play for fun here and there, you're like, hey, I'm going to shoot this way. Go run up to that thing and like do this and that. And then like they have a little bit more fun. It's also a good way to find out if there's bad guys on the right. Just to send a couple little guys up there. And
Yeah.
Oh, they made it. Okay, I can go. You know what I mean? So you got a lot of great opportunities and nugs that you can learn as a tournament player if you play also in the scenario side of things. So I'm a big advocate there. Again, we should do. Who was it? I just saw something about the flex parts, dude. I've got them. You can see them. They're everywhere. We got.
I got some too. We were gonna do that.
Yeah, we're gonna do that.
We
can do that. Let's do that segment next week.
Yeah.
This is what we're gonna do next week. And shout out to Core and JT, also a supporter of the show.
This is my favorite shirt on Dynasty.
Oh wow, watermelon.
This thing is sweet.
Watermelon boy.
I was like wondering. I don't know if I could wear this. Like, it's the same umbrella.
It's kind of the same umbrella. Yeah. I think you're allowed to wear that.
Should be able to wear this.
But you could also recreate it with a
Empire logo.
With an Empire logo, or even you could start it with the you could put the AC Diesel logo on it.
Yeah.
There you go.
It'd go good with those tracksuits, the retro tracksuits that we're about to drop.
I mean, too much.
I think we're actually gonna drop those next Tuesday on the show.
Let's go.
So be ready. Look out for that.
Yeah, we got a fun show coming up next Tuesday. We're gonna have an in-house. We're gonna move the studio up there, and we're gonna talk. We got some in-house chef. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna write it. I'm gonna write it down right now in the notes. JT builds. Because then, Kyle, you could go through all your stuff. I bet you've got a ton of build stuff in there.
Yeah.
I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I've got like 8 ProFlexes, or parts at least.
Yeah.
In here right now, and we'll do some builds. We'll make some stuff.
We'll I gotta get rid of some stuff. So if you guys need anything, I got a lot of miscellaneous stuff. Let me know. What I did is I moved into this new place last Wednesday?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Wednesday, and I brought over like all the essentials that I needed, and then I brought did a few more runs. Obviously, all the furniture, got everything set up, and then I was like, I'm gonna wait and be here over the weekend and see like how much I actually need, and so like everything else that I've not brought over right away, I don't need. I'm like, this is great, but now I'm like, crap, it's gonna be hard to get rid of all this stuff very quickly. But yeah, I was living very minimal over there and just bare essentials, and it's been good.
It's nice though, huh?
Oh, it's great.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I need to come over and check it out.
Yeah, it's sick. I'm setting it up nice already.
There we go. Yeah, Jacob, I'm actually pretty good at lenses. Right when we signed with JT, I whipped this thing up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm good at this. And again, that came from the very first time I ever installed a JT lens.
I remember when I first got on the team, I think Archie or Yo showed me one time, and it was super difficult the first time, and then it became really easy. So
yeah, you got to start with the nose. That's the thing. And
yeah.
I learned that in 1997.
On putting it in.
Putting it in.
Taking out, isn't it?
Taking it out, yeah. Taking it out, you just get out and just rip it.
Yeah. And that's what I think. I was being careful. Yosh was like, you're not going to break it. Just rip the thing out.
You're not going to break these things. I mean, they're literally there's that frame is more than 10 years old.
It's at least 42.
I'm 42 years old. Almost.
Travis Pastrana used to wear those on his dirt bike.
He's not even that old.
Tony Hawk.
Tony Hawk used to wear them on his dirt bike, on his skateboard.
And he's skateboarding
in the rain. The GI clears. And Matt Condor, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm about to find out. Also, guys, just want to before we jump in with our new guest here, our next guest, or I guess he's a new guest for us.
Yeah.
We've got Mickey and Mark coming on here to tell stories, talk a little bit about things that we haven't talked about on the PTG show over the last 2 episodes that they were on. If you guys have any questions for them, please throw them in the chat right now, and we'll get that kind of answered and loaded up. We've got a couple of questions that we want to ask, and also I want to know, has anybody out there checked out their site, the betting site?
So I did Try to check it out today, but we can't access it.
So you right. So I believe that if you have a
VPN,
I think that's how it works. Again, I'm not really technologically
sound.
Well, I don't want to call it that. That's not the right. I've heard of Discord, but I don't have Discord.
Yeah, there's another word.
For
it, right? Savvy.
I'm not savvy, right? I got like the things that I have that I need, But my understanding of a VPN was like, it was like, oh, like so that way they don't know what, the government can't see what you're searching. I'm like, well, I mean, I'm like, I don't care what the government knows that I'm on the Spick and Span show every Tuesday and that I've got, I'm looking up how to cook a rack of lamb. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's all good. I don't really need to hide it, but. Yeah, I know Ryan Moffat knows it, and I know that everybody under
Ryan Moffat, congratulations on your nomination in the Summit Awards.
That's right. You were in there back to back. So you do, yeah. Okay.
Is there any free VPNs out there? Because I know most of them.
We have to pay for VPNs.
Yeah, I remember when I was big in the crypto trading stuff. I paid for a VPN for a little bit. It was like $9 a month, but I. Actually, and you know what I thought was a little code that I could use it for is buying plane tickets in other places, and that's kind of what I wanted to check.
Wait,
too.
Why do you want to buy plane?
Because it might be see if it's cheaper
if you're
in
like
other areas.
If like Floridians buy
or you could change it to like
Bangladesh,
the UK or something.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, because you can. It's like a plug-in and it drops down and then it sits like at the top of your browser and you can pull down and like change your thing to wherever.
Yeah. Again, I don't know. Let's see. I've been into crypto since 2012. A VPN is a good tool to have if you're doing. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's like that.
I like that. So Mafia follow-up question there. Have you had a VPN since 2012? Because that will answer the last portion of possible question that you might want to have. Because then I have to think about you. I leave my gear bag around you.
I still do a little crypto STK, just not as wild as I was doing it before. I have a little PTSD. So
Kyle has PTSD from some crypto rugs and from a game stonk.
Yeah.
GameStop.
I tried to watch that new that Dumb Money movie because I heard it was really good and it was a little depressing.
Kyle's experience with the
they were really good.
They were great. It was like going to college, like a full 4-year tuition at college.
Yes.
And then just up in one day.
So I'm taking a little bit of a break. So I'll get the short story. GameStop, when all that stuff was coming out, I was one of those early people that knew.
He told me about it
in September, October, and I bought a bunch of shares, probably from $2,000, and I got 50,000. But then I was like, it's still gonna go, and I held it and played around with it. That shot down.
They kept saying, to the moon is what they kept saying.
Yeah.
They said, to the moon.
And then crypto was another just like stupid coin. Like, it's a shit coin is what it's called. I put $2,000 into one of those. That also went to 50,000.
I was there. We were at a clinic.
Yeah, we were at a clinic.
We were at a clinic together.
At AG Paintball.
Yeah.
And we we're like looking at like every few hours. It was going, it would be like, hey, it's 15,000. We were at the field. I'm like, it's at 30,000. And then it just sank like in seconds. Someone pulled it. So that was just a smooth 100K.
That he could have had.
That I could have had.
To the moon, they said.
So I'm a little hurt. I got damaged. It's like bad relationship. I'm just waiting to gather my.
And I do want to point out. Actually, that's a great question for Mickey too, because he gambles a lot, obviously. And it's like, when do you know to pull out? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like
this will be good.
And this is something because like you hear the story about like everybody, right? Everybody, you hear the story of the person that had a lot and then they didn't have any more.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, dude, why didn't you sell? Why wouldn't you sell? And I'll tell you why. It's because that feeling and that rush of winning like that big chunk, and you're like, oh my gosh. And if it's moving like at an exponential rate, you're like, wow.
I'm gonna be a millionaire.
Well, hold on. If I pull it now, I could have just lose out on $100,000. And I think with the way that you and Carter had explained to me was, I came into this poor, I could leave poor. is what you guys kept shouting to me. And I was like,
And that's what happened.
That's true. That's true. I'm going to go in the other room and sell all mine.
That thought process.
Yeah. Because you're on a heater. You're on a heater.
It
Yeah, heater.
correctly.
You know?
But yeah, the smart thing too is like you keep getting some of those random wins, those small wins, and then pull all that money back out, and then you still have that initial little chunk of $2,000 that I turned into. Well, $4,000 into 100,000. I could just use that $4,000 again. But learn the lesson there. Yeah, it's interesting how emotions start to take over. Like no matter what, it's like.
Oh, emotions right away. That's it. Let me grab the meeting ID here so I can send it into him. And I don't know, has anybody else kind of been in there? I learned the lesson, and it's really hard. You're like, ooh, just try. You gotta take the chips off the table. I think, as they say. I mean, for me, it's not chips. I'm not a good gambler whatsoever. But let's see here. Oh, meeting ID. Okay. I'm gonna put this in right now. So I'm gonna paste this in.
Mafia said he sold 2 Bitcoin at $250 a pop. He was 15. He had no clue what it could become. Still made 500 though.
There we go. Double your money.
Profit's profit.
Profit's profit. Oops.
Admit.
Meeting ID. Yeah, I just should have pushed him in. Let me type the meeting ID in here. All right, so we've got Mark joining us right now off of Ology, connecting to audio and cannot hear you. Okay. Well, let me get this. What's going on here with this? How do I? Okay, 8.5.
Mafia, you still have a VPN? I know you were saying. I didn't read if you. Oh yeah, I think he said yes. Have you checked out the gambling site yet? If you have a VPN.
Yeah, has anybody done that?
It's Kurgo, I believe it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've got the link right here. I've got a link at least. Where is it?
Oh, another good story. So I like set up everything for the new apartment, and it's like recommended internet AT&T fiber. So I was like, tight, I'll get this.
Tight.
Order the fiber, everything comes. For like 2 days, I spent like 3 hours each day trying to troubleshoot it. Finally, I'm like, nothing's working. The connection's blinking this red light. I do all this research. Talk to some other people. They're like telling me to do those same things. I'm like, I already did it. Kenny's like, have you tried resetting it? I was like, yeah. You don't think I've reset it? Anyways, the technician comes out and he looks at it and he's like, there's no fiber connection. They sealed it up by your front door. It's supposed to go outside and connect. So you don't have a fiber connection. Who told you to get fiber? So I had to redo the whole thing.
Oh, that's great. Good for them. Good for them. All right, let's go. We're gonna jump in here right now. We got it rolling. You guys are both on mute, but let's jump on over here to the projector brought to you by these boys over here at NECTR. We got the guest cam popping up.
What up, boys?
There we go. Let's get the volume up.
If you guys too have a computer or your phone there and you want to read the comments while they come in, you can just pull it up and then mute that side of it because it's live.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Where can I see the comments on the chat?
Yeah. So on the YouTube site, just go to YouTube and then.
On the YouTube site.
Yeah.
So we do live on YouTube. So it's on Spick and Span show. If you type in.
Sorry, they're screaming in the background.
No, it's all good.
Here, actually, I'll put a link right now in our
group chat. So we're live. We're actually like straight up live right now on YouTube.
Yeah, bring it on.
Bring it on.
Yeah, I kind of filled Mickey in a little bit on Sunday.
What am I looking at? Spick and Span?
Yep. It should be episode 179. Gambling and paintball.
Oh, I'm not smart enough for all this.
Dude, you got that fancy mic. I know you're smart enough for it. And I've heard you talk. I've heard your talk, and you're very eloquent. And you've done this before, so I know You got that kiss pillow back there, and you've got all that fancy stuff. You can for sure.
You know, there's another show also called Spick and Span. It's an Asian woman. She does fashion. I'm looking at it right now.
No way.
Yeah, it's Spick and Span official channel.
Oh wow. Okay.
14,000 subs.
14,000 subs. Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a way to
What am I
change
looking
the
for?
layout.
How do I find
Just
it?
type in Ryan Greenspan on there, and then there should be a live link. You'll
All
find
right,
it.
all right.
There we go. Did you? Okay, so you didn't hear the conversation leading up to this,
No.
which
Yeah, that's pretty.
which
You
is
might
really,
like
it's
it.
really good. It's actually pertains to you. You can definitely answer some of the question there on what we were talking about there.
Someone was asking about if I am in the crypto game, and I was telling them that have you seen that new Dumb Money movie, the GameStop thing?
You're muted again.
I'm familiar, but I haven't seen it.
Well, short story, I was in it like super early before like one of those people that could have made a lot of money, and I rode that thing from $2,000 up to like 50, 60 grand, and then I just held it.
Holy shit.
And lost it all. And then I did that with a shit coin in crypto, also $2,000 at 50 grand, rode that thing down.
And one of the things we're saying is like, you know, it's easy for people to be like, dude, why didn't you cash out? Like you had all that money. But then you're like, well, I was also making money at such an exponential rate so quickly. And then it's like, so when do you cash out? Like how many failures or how many times do you have to lose the pot before you cash out? Learn how to like take the dub.
You talking about crypto, like you cashed out early, you're saying?
No, he didn't cash out and got rugged.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. 2,000
I'm
to
sorry,
50,000 to like I put out like 3,000 or 4,000. It's like a little
The
profit.
time to cash out is before you lose all your money. That's
Yes.
the time to cash out.
Right. That's you know, that's spoken like, you know, that you got to take a handful of L's before you realize that one. But what if it keeps going up and you sold?
Yo, you want to hear what might be the biggest L in crypto history?
Yeah, let's hear it.
It's really bad. All right, so my best friend is the founder of CoinMarketCap.com.
Uh-huh.
And so he made, crazy buku money. And he's like a real nerdy kid. If you go look on my Instagram, he's in all my original like party vlog videos. I tagged him in everything. Like, he's my best friend, right? You can see him in all my videos. So he's the founder of CoinMarketCap.com. And he's total nerd, full-blown crypto. It's his whole life, right? So he's like a die-hard, like live by it, die by it. This is the future, whatever. Dogecoin gets started, and he's like, you're an idiot. He's like, that's not a real thing. There's no tokenomics. There's no utilization. You're an idiot. It's a meme. Like, don't be stupid. Don't be fooled, right? So the hype starts building real big with Dogecoin. And he's like, he like took it personal. He's like, this is not crypto. Like, this is like a joke, right? It's like a troll. So he goes, I'm going to prove to you how stupid it is. And he started Shiba Inu coin. And so he would do this for all his transactions just to be a troll. He'd be like, yo, can I bum a cigarette off you? I'll give you $1 million. And like, you're going to give me $1 million for a cigarette? And he goes, yeah, but I'm going to pay you in Shiba. So on your computer, it looks like I really just gave you $1 million and it's $1 million, but there's no liquidity. Like, you can't pull out the $1 million. It's worth zero. And he did this to like prove that Doge was the same as Shiba, which is a total troll.
Yeah.
So he ends up giving away billions of dollars worth of Shiba Inu coin,
God.
proving this point. A little bit of time goes by, it starts exploding and actually worth the billions that he had like trolled and gave away. So he lost out on billions after creating Shiba coin. And he became fully suicidal. That's actually not even it's not a fun part of the story. And we spent a really long time, I forget, a year, 2 years, I forget, every single day on the phone trying to talk him off the ledge. It was a very sad time. It was a hard time. Yeah. And then we went on, we did something really great together in the space, and it sort of came around full circle, and he felt whole again. But yeah, he gave away Shiba after creating it to prove a point that Doge was useless.
Sheesh. Yeah, that'll get you. So when do you call it? Like, what point in time on the heater do you decide to like just cash in?
I'm not here for financial. I'm not giving financial advice. I don't know.
I like Mark's answer. It's before you lose. That's you cash out before you lose.
Yeah, cash out before you lose. Always drink seltzer. You can never go wrong with those two answers.
Never shave your beard.
Never shave your beard. Good man.
I mean, I do because I can't grow a beard, but I get it. I get it. It's a thing.
You're not really shaving anything. If you can't grow one, you're not shaving anything. You're just putting a razor to your face.
And actually, the other thing is, I don't live in the snow, right? Like, I feel like you need to have, like, that's a thing you need to have when you drive a snowplow, right? Is one of the things you do.
Well, I do road construction and maintenance, and I also drive trucks when it snows to plow snow. Yeah. It's actually kind of annoying. So, I'm from New Jersey. I moved out here a couple years ago, and when I first moved out here, I don't know why in my head I'm like, obviously everyone knows I'm not from around here, and so someone would say something to me, and I'd be like, do I fucking look like I'm from around here or something? And every single time they're like, yeah, actually you look like you spent your whole life here. Yeah,
the beard. But when you open your mouth like that, I know for a fact you're from the East Coast. Yo, do I fucking look like I'm from here?
Oh, shit.
Yo, Ryan, you want to know a funny story I always wanted to tell you?
Yes.
So when I played paintball when I was a kid, right? And I took like most of my life off, and I just came back. So, but my brother always played, so he would tell me about like who's the star player these days or whatever, and he would talk about this Ryan Greenspan guy, right? Like, he's one of the best, and like, I gotta watch him and all this. And I go, Ryan Greenspan? I go, I just left Ryan's house right now. And he's like, no way you know Ryan Greenspan. And I was like, yeah, I literally know Ryan. It sounded like a screenshot of like me and him together. I'm like, yeah, that's my boy. My best friend in my 20s name is Ryan Greenspan.
No way.
Yeah.
Dude, does he play hockey?
I don't think so. I don't think he's capable of being athletic at all.
There's a lot of Ryan Greenspan though.
No, I don't think there's a lot. I know there are a couple, because there is one if you Google my name, like out in like the bottom of the first page or like the second page, there's someone who I think he plays hockey,
There's only one Kyle Spicka. I know him. He lives not far up in Oceanside.
Yeah, this guy, I guess this dude messages him and he goes, hey man, a bunch of people keep messaging me thinking that I'm you.
Asking me for paintball stuff.
And
then they like became friends.
You know who Brian Deegan is?
Yeah, Ryan Deegan.
Yeah, do you tell people that you guys are not related because you guys look identical?
You are. So many people tell me that.
Who is this?
He's like a motocross guy, right?
Yeah. Pull up a side by side. Pull his photo up. Let's take for Ryan right now.
Do a quick comparison, and then do an AI comparison. They're gonna have one photo.
Oh wow!
You should talk to your mom. I don't know where she was.
This guy doesn't look like me. Yeah, I wonder how old. This guy doesn't look like me. Does he look like me?
Come on.
He's probably only 2 years older than you.
Hold on. I gotta find. I'm gonna.
A little bit. I see it.
I guess right here. Kinda.
Come on, bro.
Hold on. I'm gonna find a picture.
It's the jawline.
I'm gonna pull.
It's a little more than the jawline.
Hold on. You guys,
on, bro.
dude. A lot of people have said that to me. This guy's a big time bro. Like this. Here it is. This is me.
Temecula. He's SoCal, Temecula.
Yeah, he is.
It's not impossible that,
Yeah.
I'm from Northern California, pal. I'm from Northern California.
You guys need to check the 23andMe.
I'm pulling up some of these pictures. Okay, I got three pictures that I'm gonna say no on, but hold on, let me.
Can't cherry pick the bad ones either.
Hold on, let me get a slideshow going here. Okay, let's add. Add files.
You play both days?
We said in the beginning of the show we were coming with the T, and now we're coming out with it right here.
I like it.
Here's the T. Ryan Greenspan and Brian Deegan are brothers.
Dude, imagine that. Imagine the drop there. So here's a couple. Hold on, this one doesn't work. Let me get.
I see it on the YouTube.
Hold on, I'm finding some. Do you see any here that look
Bro,
kind of?
don't play with me. That's you, bro.
Kind of does.
Does it really?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, bro, that's you.
I don't see it.
Make the face.
Right there, do it. Hand in the air.
Which one? Like.
This one's lagging.
Oh yeah. That's you. Bro.
Oh. Oh, hold on. There's another one right here. This one
You would try to use the muscle one. You don't have that big of muscles.
Hold on. Why did it get so big? Hold on. Let me resize this.
Holy shit! Same fucking photo.
No shit, really? Let's see what everybody else is saying. Hold on. I gotta read the comments. Is everybody saying that this looks like me? Oh hell yeah! Incredible.
Hell yeah,
I see it. Everybody says it.
Someone said that guy's definitely taller than you.
You think so?
I don't know, maybe.
Damn,
Yeah.
dude, I get that a lot actually, which is kind of funny. That's great. Okay, all right. Well, hey, I'll take it. He's cool, right? He's cool?
Yeah,
He
super
rips.
cool.
He rips.
Yeah, his whole family. So he was one of the founders of Metal Militia, and he's super gnarly on a bike. He has 2 sons and a daughter. One of his sons is the leading pro 250 motocross and supercross rider right now, going for the championship. He's like top dog and probably like the most clouded of the riders in the pro league right now. And his daughter, his other son is younger, also a great rider, and his daughter is one of the top NASCAR truck racers in the circuit. She races for NASCAR.
Oh, and she's killing it out there.
Yeah, she's top dog also. So the whole family is top dog in action sports. And then their other son, Ryan, is a top dog in paintball.
Kyle. Yeah. I get it.
Took me a second there.
Hey,
on that one.
Mark, how old's your daughter? You say you have a daughter?
Yeah, my daughter is 2.5.
2.5. Okay, excellent, dude.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, it's all getting real fun from here. Does she
Holy crap, dude.
Does she have a jelly blaster yet?
She doesn't have a gel blaster. We got so we have 2 kids. We have a boy's about to be 8, and then our daughter as well. And so we got they're like not really gel blasters. We're gonna have to get the legit versions. Obviously, gel blasters the way to go. But we have these other ones and they suck. They're just like random pistols and they don't stay charged and they suck at shooting.
They're like they're a BB gun. It hurts when she shoots it.
It's almost like a BB gun. Yeah, they actually really suck. But my daughter's mad cool since my girl was pregnant with her till like 3 years ago. I always watch paintball. So like I'm hanging out with my kids. She's watching paintball. She's growing up. We're watching paintball on TV. She comes to the field, whatever. And so I give her my gun and she just runs around the house, carrying the gun and stuff. It's mad cool, That's what we all do with the kids.
Yeah. That's what my daughter. She's 5 now, but I think at about 2.5, like right when she could kind of like balance herself well enough with an object in her hand, I was like, try this gel blaster thing. And I mean, she grabbed it and pointed it straight at the dog and was about to let the dog have it. But I think like maybe in a couple months, you're playing the WCPPLs, right?
Yeah.
Okay. When you come down when we go out for that one, I'll bring some. I've got a couple extra. You can bring up the legit ones up to the kids.
Hell yeah, the kids will love that.
They're fun, man. I love those things. They're like such a great entry into getting like anybody involved in paintball really. And they don't hurt as bad. Like right now, I can kind of shoot.
Invention.
I can shoot
Genius
slow with them right
invention.
now. She doesn't like it.
Compact. You just fill up water. It's great. Not expensive. Yeah,
no, they're perfect. You can shoot them inside the house. It's great. You know what I mean? Like you walk up to your wife, whatever, and you're just like, "Yo, what's that?" Right in the butt. They don't even notice.
I remember my mom was gone like all day one day on a weekend, and me and my friends that played paintball went in there with airsoft guns, like the little electric ones, and we probably shot about 50,000 pellets in there, and they left little tiny, minute dents all over the house on the wall, and then left the airsoft bullets all on the ground. She was not happy. 40,000 of them. I remember because we bought a big jug. We used them all. That was not good.
It's almost excessive because they send you packages like that. They're like, here's 5 billion little gel blaster balls.
Yeah. Like I gotta use them.
What am I gonna do with this?
Yeah. Can't waste them. What else? Mickey, you play both days this weekend or just Sunday?
Yeah. I played both days. I'm making up for lost time.
Yeah. No, I was telling Mouse and I when we were talking to you, I was telling you like since I saw you first at the field to now, you already like made leaps and bounds of progress. It's cool to watch because it's not. It's harder for people to do that. Go ahead.
I wanted to ask you specifically. So I did play the game, right? Mm-hmm. And so out of all 4 of you, out of Ryan, Tyler, and Marcelo, you have watched me play more than any of them. How do you think I play? Give it to me for real.
So you just obviously, and this is not just with you, it's with everyone, is like have to get more understanding of the game and experience, and the only way to do that is through playing lots of repetitions, what you're getting in, and like I told you, playing against harder people because it forces you to learn a lot faster. But what's impressive to see is like your body mechanics are getting a lot better. Like before, you're kind of unstable, and like the way that you were like looking at areas and how far out of like a bunker you were when you're snap shooting has like been fine tuned down. And so like some of the times I would like be watching like the point in general, and then you would get shot or something and come out, and then I was like, oh, I didn't even notice that, because your body mechanics are like a completely different person than you were like even a few months ago. So, you know, I think it's just understanding a little bit. It's reaction time, I think, which comes with playing a little bit more and getting more experience. And once you have that, like your switches and everything will be faster. Because like right now it would be like, you know, the competition that's at ASG, especially like Saturday, Sunday on that field, is like...
I'm only playing against pros.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever practiced against semi-pro or D2. I'm only practicing against pros.
Yeah, and that team that I Mouse and I coach over there, like they're a lot of them have played pro, and they're playing semi-pro. They're good. Like I think they could handle a little bit in pro. But yeah, I think it's like, you know, you're playing a guy, and then maybe he doesn't shoot you, you don't shoot him, and then you still have dominance of him. He might think of a creative way, and so you kind of got to put your mind into his, and like how else am I exposed here? And that might be like when you get like if someone comes to bunker you highway and you're looking down the tape, you know, putting yourself into all those different situations faster. And I think, you know, along with as you're playing, your fundamentals are gaining really fast.
So I'm playing D2 again this year. How do you think I stack up in a D2 field as an individual player?
I mean, the biggest asset I think that you need to go with too is like is using your aggression and being like first to the punch, because I think that's the hardest part. Like going toe to toe with some of the better D2 players that have been playing for a long time, as far as like fundamentals and like snap shooting and gunfighting with those guys. I think that's where they have an advantage on you. So, you know, with your team that you're going to play with, I would utilize like, hey, put me in a spot that I'm going to be able to get somewhere aggressively quick and surprise them, and then get like the free kills. But you also can't do that, you know, 3 to 6 times every single point. So you're also going to need to play those other points and then chill, and then be like, also cater to be a little bit more passive on your gun battles. Because like I think that's probably the only, you know, is being great with the fundamentals. That's the only thing that might kind of separate you from those other, like the upper half, I guess, or like the top 10 D2 teams.
You're not going to hurt my feelings, by the way. I'm here for all the real feedback, just so you know.
Yeah, no, I'm saying it's mainly just fundamentals and understanding the game. So I'd say like when you go that, you'll just learn by playing in that division. But, you know, when you're gunfighting with those guys, you're not as good as them. So I would be a little more passive on that.
Where do you play on the field? Mark, you play the snake, right?
Yeah, I just play front. It just turns out that everyone on my team just tells me to go and run, so I just play front.
Okay.
But yeah, the snake. Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Everybody can play the Doritos. Like that shit's easy, right? But I do too. Yeah.
Because you can be on your feet.
Yeah, you can.
After you have your head down, like shit, what's happening? All right, I guess I gotta move.
But I'll tell you what, and for everybody listening, and I tell people this all the time, it's like if you can be the snake, if you're the snake guy, if you can be the snake guy, you're gonna be the guy, right? There's like, there's 10 top guys in the world, and they're all the snake guys, you know, and then there's a huge gap between pretty much like the 7 through 10, and then the rest of the world. Mm-hmm. Right, and so if you can get as many reps in that number 1 spot up in the front in the snake, and then play the number 2 and kind of like be able to fight your way into that spot, it's gonna be. And then especially with the new fucking catastrophe that was released this year with snakes everywhere,
yeah,
you're gonna have a huge advantage, right?
Yeah, it is hard because especially like you're saying in the Doritos, it's right, theoretically easier, right, because you're on your feet. You have
Vision.
all this. It's huge. They're huge bunkers.
Yeah.
You can do anything you want, and you can come out on multiple different sides. When you're in the snake, right, everyone's like, okay, well, his option is to go from here to here.
Mm-hmm.
We know this, you know what I mean? So there's obviously, as everyone knows, but there's a lot of shit you got to figure out. And it's like, right, I'm always dealing with the people on my team. They're like, well, why aren't you doing this at this point? And I go, it's just, you guys are not playing the snake on this layout. You can give me your input and I'll use your input, but I need you to understand and trust the fact that I will get this job done, but it has to be at my own pace certain times. Sometimes you want me to go SOB, it's no problem.
Mm-hmm.
But I need you to understand, like, this has to be at my own pace because I have my own rhythm of going from A to B. Sometimes I'll go from A to C to B all the way back to C. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, there's a lot of different levels to it.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to change your speed and your routes and your just what you're doing to, like, constantly keep the other team. Because as you get into these higher divisions, I mean, it's like there's a lot of, like, reverse psychology that goes into it too, because it's like it narrows down the farther you go into a tournament of, like, where everyone's kind of doing the same shit and everyone's fairly equal fundamentally wise. And then it's like, all right, well, how can I outsmart this guy? How can I bait him into, like, overextending? And that's where a lot of it's like you're switching how aggressive you are, and maybe you're aggressive for a ton of points and then you stay back and you just survive, and that while you work on the other side of the field. And it's also, like, cataloging how the points have went down, like, pressure wise, so that you can relay that back. Hopefully you have a good coach that knows how to, like, break down that analysis, and then your other players, like, this guy's I've been, like, fucking him up in the snake, and then knowing, like, maybe after 2 or 3 points, if you fucked a team up in the snake and they're a decent team, they're not gonna let you do it again. So that's, like, having the, like, wherewithal to understand that right away and bring that back to your team. You're like, look, don't, or I'm sure you guys have had that feeling too, where you're like, man, I just did this, like, 4 points in a row. I do not feel like I shouldn't do this the 5th point. And you get shot off the break, or, like, they stop you, or there's in a spot that surprises you. It's like there's a lot of trusting your intuition too and instincts, to be able to, like, take a step back and be like, hey, maybe this is what's been happening. I've been fucking them up. We got to change it a little bit. So, because you want longevity to go back to being able to do that later in the match.
I try to help, the lower guys, the lower divisional guys at, like, the local field I'm at, because everyone just wants to go snake off break every point. I'm going to make it. It's no problem. I just want to get in the snake and do this. And I'm like, I try to explain, like, a very simple story that happened. It was in Chicago with the Chicago snake, right? You could pretty much go SOB every point, and it was just, let's win the snake. So when we were in Chicago this year, I tell this story to these lower division guys sometimes. And I go, listen, I went snake off break almost every single point that I played, right? Which was quite a bit of the points. And one point, I'm like, guys, what's the game plan? They're like, you want to go, where do you want to go? I was like, I think I'm going to go to the corner. Send me a snake corner. And I'm just going to hang out. And so, because the other team we're playing had a very aggressive snake player. So I'm like, just send me to the snake corner. I'm going to go snake corner. I'll make it. I'll stay alive. Let's just figure it out from there. So that we all make it alive. So it's 5-on-5. And the other team is like, no problem, because I'm not engaging down the wire. Obviously, someone has to control the wire. That's how you control the snake in that game, in that layout. So I let them control the wire. They got the guy in the snake. He came all the way to our snake 1, not even where that W was, right? Mm-hmm. So he's not even behind a bunker anymore. Everyone on my team is yelling at me, yo, he's in our snake 1. And I'm like, it's okay. Just don't look at him. Just don't look at him. We got this. And they're like, yo, and there's a guy in the Seattle, that little stand-up mini brick, right? And I'm like, just whatever you do, just don't look this way. Just don't look. And they're like, okay. They're pissing. I'm like, okay, now I have a second. I come out. Now I shoot the wire. I snap him out. We're good. Don't worry, right? This guy thinks he's the safest guy in the world. It's just patience, right? I go snake off break every point. I'm like, oh, go to the corner. Let them come. Boom, kill their snake guy. Okay, no problem. Now we got a guy moving down the Dorito side. He's freed up. Goes, he gets a couple kills. Now they got kill a snake corner. Now they fill our snake 3 again. My dude's like, yo, they're in our snake 3. No problem. Run down the highway, bunker him, bunker the last guy. We win the points. No problem. So like, just like you're saying, it's all about, right, doing this, but knowing when to not do this. And hopefully when you choose not to do it, that was the right time to
Yeah.
to change up your game plan.
Yeah.
Do you guys have who's your coach?
We don't have a coach.
Oh shit. Okay.
We street ball the hell out of this. That's how I play paintball. We street ball.
Mickey, you guys have David?
David Ramirez is our coach. Yeah.
Yeah. I like David.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah, I think actually, I don't know about anything past Vegas, but for Vegas, I think it was set up on purpose so all of Aftermath and their camp can support us when we're playing our points. So I think when we get David, we also get the rest of the Aftermath guys and Wayne and
Hell yeah.
Nice.
assuming Mike and whoever else also to coach.
Well, maybe there's some residual bodies over there that could can help out the Ology boys. I'm telling you, dude, the biggest thing that you guys are gonna have, it's like it's funny because it's what literally separates the top 4 teams from the rest of the league.
Yeah.
You know, I was talking to one of the guys out there from Hawaii. Royce is like, yeah, we're trying to get a coach for the WCPPL because like it just makes a huge difference when there's one of the reasons that Marcelo and Kyle's team were in the finals against each other every single time. One of the reasons that PB Fit and Blast Camp were also in the finals together. It's obviously 80%, 90% their talent, right? But then there's a huge portion of that's their preparation in the pit, having people help you in the pit, and having that all dialed in so you're not like frantic, and then having a coach. And now even if you kind of like give that coach or whoever it is like just delegate their level of responsibility. If it's just like let's just call the lines, or just you watch what the other guys are doing and call the lines, and I've joked like we'll just roll the dice. Literally, like, have some dice on the table and we'll have six fucking game plans and you just roll it and be like, all right, cool, we're going to do game plan 4, game plan 3, and game plan 4 again, you know? Like,
I mean, I would put it down to, like, 3 main components of, like, why a good coach is important. Obviously, scouting. And if you don't have the coach, you need other players that can scout the teams that you're going to play so you have data going into those matches when you play them. The second thing is as you start to get up into the, like, the later matches with those top teams, everyone, again, like I'm saying, is good as each other, pretty much. So you have to be able to figure out ways to, what I like to call steal points. Like, is a guy going slow into, like, an insert bunker? If we can just shoot that guy off the break, maybe put a few guns on that guy and get him off the field and put us in a 5-on-4, that's probably most likely going to be, that point's going to go to us. And then the last one is adjusting. Because with all 3 of these things, maybe not the scouting, a player can do this, but you need someone that has like that bird's eye view of everything that's going on, so you know where your team is having success. And as a coach, I look at where my team's having success, and then I go back to the data that I have on the team that we're playing, and if we've won 2 points in a row, I go, all right, now I know how they're going to adjust and how we beat them. This is what they do when other teams have done this to them before, and this is how they got back in the game. Because a lot of times when you don't have a coach, and we see it like constantly in the pro league with good teams, a team's losing 3-0 and then the other team comes back and now it's tied. So to be able to have like a coach that can stay on top of, like, if when the other team adjusts, you adjust in front of them and you keep that lead. And that's the biggest thing, because a lot of times the teams that's losing, you see it in even other pro sports. Like a lot of times they come back, even it up, tie it up. Or come back to win.
Mark, how come you guys don't have a coach? You're one of the most like beloved group of guys in the league. Everybody wants to help. You guys have a great chance of winning. Why don't you have a coach?
A lot of it comes down to financials. Really, at the end of the day, that's a big aspect. Obviously, right? It's to get the best, right? You have to pay for the best, and it becomes this little difficult balance of where does the money go and how do we spend it and who's available as well. So last season we had Thomas, right? Thomas Taylor was there to the best of his abilities to coach us as often as possible. Obviously, it becomes a little difficult, obviously, when the players are also playing or the coaches are playing. So it gets a little difficult.
That's so crazy, because right before this podcast, Ryan Greenspan told me that he would coach Ology through semi-pro.
I would. I've got my hands full with the Southern California teams. I got Narcos. We're playing Premier now too. I've got Omega in D3 and D4.
It's been said. It's been in the air. It's in the air.
It's in the air.
I'm pretty sure I said it first, so that's how it works.
Yeah, it's tough. Even like Mouse and I, we're not coaching because the TJ Bastards are playing semi-pro at NXL. We're not Nikki that used to help coach with the Ironman, she's coaching them for NXL because we don't. It's kind of tough when we're at those events. You kind of have to be like.
It's hard. It's basically impossible. You can't do it. So a lot of it, for us at least, a lot of it relies on. I'm going to give a shout out real fast to Dad. It's not my actual father. That's just what we refer to him as. Everybody can have their own, just figure out who Dad is. You know who it is. And so we rely a lot on him and his brain for scouting and truly being like the grounding force of our team. And we picked him up halfway through last season. And it was like, truly, like, in my opinion, probably the greatest thing that this team did was pick this guy up. He does a lot of that scouting, a lot of the keeping us grounded and focused. And then we also have, hey, V, come here. Say hi.
Hey.
There we go.
Hey, pretty girl. How you doing?
Who's that right there? Who's
Hi.
that? Hey. Okay, go to mama. I love you.
Mark, you know who I think is available to coach? He
Who's
coached
that?
me. He coached me in Cup, and I know what his cost is, and his cost is very reasonable. That dude, I think his name is George Zimmerman. He coached me at my team at Cup, and I don't really know how he lines up as a coach. I just know that he's not going to be coaching the Suspects this year like he did last year. And David Ramirez did vouch for him. Like me and David have spoken about George. So I'm led to believe he's a good coach, and he coached me at Cup, and we did pretty good. And I know his costs are reasonable, if that helps you at all.
Okay. We can take a note of that. Absolutely. Pass it on.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, you definitely want to get some guys. You want to get somebody out there to like help call the shots. And I'm still,
Yeah.
and I throw that like that idea of kind of like getting some game plans, figuring out what works, and just kind of like literally rolling the dice. I throw that around with like the divisional teams that don't have coaches sometimes. I have not yet to hear if it works at all. Oh, here we go. Orlando says Grayson Gladstone is also good, and Grayson's on Aftermath. I don't believe he'd be playing the event. Blake
He's
Yarber's
also
having a board.
Jewish.
He's also Jewish.
Stoked.
Yeah, he's a chosen one.
Which we are. So
I heard that.
The stars
I heard that.
are aligning right here.
It goes well with the accent.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually have the Hormesis Star of David band up there. I don't
there we
actually
go.
wear any of my Hormesis bands, so it's just kind of sitting up there.
You
Just
don't have
kinda
one of
sit
those?
there.
I don't have one of those. No, I don't. I didn't get one of those.
Alex, like, what the hell?
What kind of headgear do you wear?
Hype. I wear Hype headbands. The guy Ian from Hype actually lives down the street from me,
Okay.
like a 1 minute drive, and he was the guy who did a lot of the, what the hell were they called, the Picassos, the Hormesis Picassos that everyone loved.
The Hormesis Picassos? I don't even know what those are.
I got to give a
He would
shout out to Mickey. He's been a Tiger Wear rider since we first met.
Oh, really?
Yeah, always rocking
There
his
we
this
go.
weekend. Appreciate you.
I got a what is it, a 1 of 4
Yeah.
Tiger Wear headband, 1
Yeah.
of 4.
We didn't even make
It's like
that
this
one.
Sand Digi Camo Tiger Wear headband I wear over my Violent Shiesty.
Yep.
And I got Tiger Wear gloves.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
Get you some more too for NXL.
Hey, can you make me, by chance, a custom Tiger Wear headband?
I can.
Yeah? Okay, let's do that then.
I'll get after the show. Just shoot me like some what you were thinking.
The collab.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
All right, well, let's hear it. Hold on. Let's design it right now. What would we got? What would be on there?
So originally I was gonna wear. So I'm a little bit. I'm still working on this thing you guys call ag, right? So I'm still working on it.
Stop. Hold on. I just want to push pause.
Ryan
here.
doesn't call
I
it,
just wanna
but
push
that's
pause
still
here.
a thing.
There are a couple people that was like a cool, and I think when you guys were kids, how old are you right now? Actually, how old are you guys?
I'm 32.
32. Okay, then yeah, you follow right into that.
I'm 30.
Yeah, I'm
30 and
33.
32? 33, yeah, that's... Okay, so your guys' generation, okay? You go ahead. Now play. Now push play.
Alright. So I'm still working on what my ag is exactly. But I wore a mask at Cup that had 2 straps on it, and it felt so secure on my face. So I was going to do 2 custom straps, but I don't know who makes straps. Like, I haven't even got that far yet. And then I was thinking, because I don't know who makes straps, headband's probably easier. I wanted one. Now, I don't say curse words, but what I wanted to say is one, just FUCKYOU. And then the second headband would say kill me. But I have some custom Lux Idols coming this year, and I think I'm going to just put those words on the guns. So I don't want to have those words like everywhere. It's just too much.
Yeah.
So I got to think about it. I might just write the word suicidal across the headband, but for every letter, put like a $, a euro sign, a pound sign, stuff like that.
Oh, nice. Yeah, just send me whatever pictures too, and then I'll start getting
Why don't you cuss?
the back end.
Huh?
Why don't you cuss?
So like almost 8 years ago, I quit cursing.
Okay.
My thought was that you can't create or destroy energy, only transfer it. So if every nanosecond of time my brain saved by not cursing, I had calculated roughly at the end of every month, I had accumulated an extra 2 hours of brain time that my competitors didn't have.
Okay, so two things, and I think I have this in my notes anyway. I wanted to ask you: you're pretty good at math, or do you just like to sit and
I would
think?
say I'm slightly above average, probably at math, but it's something I always understood. It's the same in every language, and it applies equally everywhere.
That's true, and it runs everything. How do you feel about the word hate?
The word hate, H-A-T-E.
H-A-T-E.
It depends on what context it's used.
I hate tomatoes.
I don't really use that word because it's so strong, because I think everything is contextual. Like, I'll tell you what, I strongly dislike tomatoes, right?
Yeah.
But there are certain times where if it wasn't for a tomato, I happen to really like ketchup with my French fries.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hate tomatoes, but I really enjoy ketchup with my fries. So how can you hate the same item that you love in a different context?
Yeah, that's a fantastic definition and explanation of it. That's exactly how I would say it as well. Because I'm trying to like get rid of that word out of my vocabulary specifically. And again, I don't. This is no knock on damage or anything like this. This has nothing to do with them. And I don't feel like equally as strong in the other direction with the word love. Like I'm not. That's not where I'm getting at. I just feel like that word is just so. I mean,
if I use it, I'll catch myself. I'll be like,
yeah,
well, I don't
man,
really hate that. I
yeah.
just, you know what I mean.
Especially if you're like, oh, I hate that person. You're like, oh, I just feel just not good about saying that.
That's a deep one. Is when you hate somebody.
Yes.
That's a whole different level.
That's a whole different level.
It is like,
I could be like,
yeah.
I don't really get along with him, or I don't really like that guy. But I don't really even say that very often.
Most of the time when someone says I hate somebody, they don't really know the person that they're saying they hate.
Yeah.
And then how many times have you been in a circumstance where you really couldn't stand somebody from afar? You get stuck in a position where you're one-on-one, and by the end of it, you go, we're so relatable.
Yeah, I feel like that's a lot of people with me. A lot of people.
He's kind of an asshole. He's kind of an asshole sometimes.
They think I'm an asshole, but then they're like, oh, he's not such a bad guy.
Yeah.
Thank gosh I don't have to hang out with him so much more.
He's just blunt.
You know, big issue I have when someone says like I hate somebody or hate anything. And for me, I think because I live so fast and so like I'm moving so quickly and fluidly through different things in my whole life with no pauses or rest time, I'm constantly evolving. And I notice things that I hated at one point in my life are either not relevant or something I utilize today. Mm-hmm. So it's such a strong commitment. If you were to go and like have to tattoo the thing that you claim you hate, in 10 years from now, will you still represent that same tattoo?
I think you can, me personally, now this is talking to 3 other guys who have lots of tattoos. I feel like you could say that about every tattoo that anybody gets. You could be like, this one didn't age well. Or this one didn't age, I don't know.
I can speak on tattoos heavy. I've been removing mine for 5 years, and if I could snap my fingers and have none, I definitely would. I think tattoos are a terrible idea. I discourage everyone from getting them. Don't get tattoos. And if you want, I'll go on a tattoo tangent. But with the hate thing, it's like we're such evolving creatures and people, and we change. Mm-hmm. What we used to hate, we no longer have even thought about these days. So it's strong to make a stance that I hate a person or hate a thing, because some time from now, it could be a week or a year or a decade, you might love that thing.
And that can apply to so much too. I've like constantly use this little example that I like when I'm like having a conversation with someone. And they're like, no, this is like how I think, and it's always going to be like this. And I'm like, did you like, let's say Brussels sprouts or broccoli as a kid? And they're like, no. I'm like, do you like it now? I'm like, yeah. Like, yeah. There we go. Like you're always, it's weird to I think a lot to be so like stern on something that you're like, I'm not going to change my mind about this ever.
So let's hear it. What's your worst tattoo, Mickey?
My singular worst? All of them. Let me think. I don't know. Like, which one do I hate the most? I'm not a fan of my forehead tattoo. Half of it's removed now. I don't know if you can see it.
Hold on, we can't hear in a second. Hold on.
Yeah, it's
Let's see.
starting to come out.
Yeah, it's like this, where this half is almost completely gone and this half is like half faded. My homie, rest in peace, Bookstar, he's a icon. He will always forever be a iconic tattooer. If you ever go into a tattoo shop and you see all like the black and gray Chicano like flash in all the books, he created that style. Like he's the godfather of that book, BOOG, Bookstar. He passed away a few years ago, unfortunately. But we were close. He tattooed me a few times. But what happened with my forehead, I was real young. We were close. I met him at his hotel room at 7 a.m. and full night of partying. And he fell asleep a few times with the needle still in my skin. And it was quite an ordeal, you know. And the whole, if you actually look close enough, the whole thing's actually crooked. It starts like high up on my hairline and goes down.
Damn.
It's a whole thing.
Ugh.
I want to go back to, you said, just as far as like feeling like you're above average with math, do you feel like that's been helping you yet with paintball? Because it's definitely going to be a part of it. I think it is a numbers game when you start playing people where everyone on the field is really good.
I haven't seen the application of math on the field yet. I'm sure it's there. I think more so it's like geometry and angles, and I happen to have excelled in geometry because I was self-taught and I took the whole grade twice, both times on my own. I was in juvenile prison and it was like this homeschool method where you teach yourself. So for my 10th grade, when I was in juvenile prison, I took all of 10th grade on my own. I tried to teach myself and try to understand it. Then I transferred to a different facility, and the first one actually gave me a fake diploma. So when I got to the second one, they said, you never graduated the 10th grade, and I had to repeat it again, and it was another self-taught version of homeschool. So geometry specifically, not only am I fully self-taught and graduated from, but I did it twice on my own. So I feel like that's good. I think my bigger issue with the application of geometry on the field is I'm still, as you kind of said, with where I'm coming out from the bunker, I don't quite have the field awareness, and I'm still learning my own team's bunker calls sometimes. So like this like fast-paced yelling of code words, which changes at every single practice and every single event, and I'm still working on like the first one, you know, the basics.
It shouldn't change. It should kind of, this is like a public service announcement. Your code should be the same from practice to practice and the whole season.
Well, the field changes, so I'm trying to learn which was Seattle, which is God, and which is money.
It should be like all like it should be in a succession, right? Like they should all. You shouldn't be like, all right, the Seattle's on the in the center 50 on this one, and then it's the Dorito 1 on that one, and it's the Snake 2 on the other one. Like it should always be on that like quadrant.
So Seattle is usually the opposite of Utah, right? It would be like the back snake side, but not the snake corner.
Insert spot.
Yeah, but not the God, right?
Yeah, right.
The God stays. But like this past weekend, like you were there, Kyle, like there was 2 snake inserts.
Yeah.
And then there was technically no home. The home was like at like the 45, and it was in the center.
Yeah.
So we called that one Seattle. We called the first insert God and the second one money. So now I'm playing up the center, so I'm trying to understand the Seattle to the 50. You know what I mean?
That could be confusing too if the God is like pushed back in the back of the field. We didn't do that. We called that Aztec that was connected to the first snake. We called that God. And then
we called that God, and then that first like snake W or whatever, we were calling money.
Mm-hmm.
But like money's not a consistent call, that, you know, for me anyway. Mm-hmm. So like I'm getting in there and someone's screaming like all these different bunker names, and instead of me like muscle memory knowing where the angle is, I have to think to myself, which bunker is that, and try to picture the layout before I come out, and then I'm like rearranging myself for the angle.
And that's
not like unheard of. That's not unheard of. Like people do that. That's like a thing that happens quite often, especially when you're learning a layout. You know, it's like we have to figure it out. If you don't walk it and you don't study it for a week or a weekend or a whole day before you actually walk or before you actually play the layout, like it's not unexpected that can happen to players. It happens to me. I'm sure it happens to them. It happens to all of us. You have to someone to be like, "Yo, Seattle," and you're like, which fucking one do we see? Oh, yeah, okay, no problem, you know? That's
what's happening to me. And in addition, I now have David and Wayne Woodruff, and very often Mike Hinman, yelling from the sideline when I'm looking the wrong way.
Those guys like to yell.
I'm running aftermath drills, right? So I'll be on the aftermath line running drills, getting the pressure as if I'm like really the aftermath starter from 3 guys that I can't, respond back to. And they're screaming at me about Seattle. And I'm like, I don't know which one Seattle is today.
You get 2 contrasting coaches too, because I mean I know you played with our guys too before. I have like a little bit different coaching style than them.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah,
good.
I like running with you guys. Your guys are nice. I mean, everyone mostly in paintball so far has been nice, but your guys have been so like gentle.
Well,
and,
everybody, when you come from the collision camp and you come from the East Coast, everybody that you meet is nice.
Okay.
So I like that. You know, you guys are like, well, we're playing from the East Coast, and then we move out to California, and then you're playing with collision. So yes, everybody's nice.
Yeah.
Right. You know, like it's.
Well, and two, I always just try to create like a common thing when I come, even to coach in new teams, and I've obviously been with TJ Bastards for like 2 years, but like create a culture that it's fun. Like they want to come to practice, and then everyone there is like trying to learn versus like 15 side conversations, people yelling at each other. Like they're actually like happy and enjoying it and like grow together, which I feel like creates that like calming like sense, and where everyone's on the same page, knows what the goals are.
You know what was cool whenever I play with the Bastards with you guys? The way everyone's so calm and like helpful is helpful to me because, mind you, I'm still green, right? Like I'm still new to playing paintball, and I've never played at this level before, like on pro fields against pros every practice, right? So I'm still learning some basics, and instead of necessarily just yelling at like the pro level technique, like do it like da-da-da-da, you guys are like, hey man, like try this, like, and it's more. It's less intimidating. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I don't have this, like, I already have some lack of confidence because I'm aware that I'm not on the same level as some of these players, that I'm trying to get there. So instead of necessarily getting met with like this constant aggression, which by the way, I'm open to the aggression, but even like David and Wayne meet me with such like gentle love that it really, and always the Bastards, you guys like kind of really help me feel comfortable with my mistakes and learning from them.
Sure.
What would you attribute the most to like advancing so fast, right? So you said
my brother Mark, 100%, don't have to think about it. Yeah. So what happened with Mark? First of all, I don't know how often you two specifically have watched Mark play. He is.
I haven't been able to see him. I've just been able to see him on his social media. You pointed him out to me, and then
yeah. No, he's a killer. He plays semi-pro. He's at the cusp of being pro, which brings us a little bit to the gambling thing. He needs to spend more time like getting there, right? But he spends so much time working his regular job that he's like right there. Mark is such a good player. He's so sharp. Everybody's aware of it. I've never like mentioned him, and anyone could not, even before they knew we were related, they'd be like, oh, the snake player from Ology or Cartel, whatever, is a killer, right? And he is. And not just that, but everybody loves him in the sport. Anybody that knows him is like, they get along great. So Mark got me ingrained. First guy was, I think, Joe Barrett. And then Joe Barrett, who took like a big liking to me. What a nice shout out, Joe Barrett. Joe started getting me in with my local top guys like David and what have you, and all these guys. And then Mouse, actually so I met Kyle and Mouse at the same moment through what a lesser than desirable route, but it ended up working itself out. There was a guy in the mix who had some of his own personal issues
Little
that
quirky.
none of us were aware of. Yeah, we weren't aware. So he had Kyle and Mouse were standing together, and he said to me like, oh, these are my dogs, these are my old teammates, they want to meet you, and kind of put us in this uncomfortable
like in a
position.
force thing. We're like, oh, we're cool, we're like nice people, we'll help him, but you don't have to like force this weird dynamic. Like let it be organic. Like it's cool.
Yeah, the guy did have the best of intentions, just poor execution, but ended up working. So like all these guys like Kyle and Mouse and Rainey and all the Aftermath guys and Wayne, they took such a good hold of me like right away. I do one-on-one training with anybody, all these guys that I'm naming, they come out and help me. But I only met them mostly because of my brother, and I only got that chance because my brother's as sharp a player as he is. And he spends so much time with me like on the phone and looking at clips, and he's like, do it like this. So when I show up, I'm that much easier for like Kyle and Mouse and David and Joe to get me even better.
And so, but you don't play with your brother very often. So does he just push you because you want to be able, like he's playing so well right now at such a high level that you're like, I need to step my game up?
Well, I'm super competitive and I want to win, and I'm super committed. I don't know if you can tell by the tattoos on my face, but when I commit all the way. So when I decided to play Cup, my first practice was I played a premier line at Dub C. That was my first practice getting ready for Cup. And then after that, I was like, I see I'm getting just dunked on by some of these other pro players. Let me really take it so I can hold my own. Like, I want to win. It feels good to win, you know?
Yeah. I see. That makes sense. I like that. That's I love the drive, right? Because again, people need to find motivation, and that's something that like people struggle to do. It's like, what is your goal? You know what I mean? And like Mark, what your goal is? You want to play pro, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. My goal is to play pro. I had to sit my girlfriend down. So obviously, like most people outside the sport, they go, "Oh, you're gonna go play paintball, have fun playing once every 6 months in the woods with your friends. It's so adorable."
Adorable.
So I met my girlfriend out here in Washington, and that's what she thought. But little did she know, the person that was getting me back into paintball used to play extremely competitively as well.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Yo, let's go every weekend." I was like, "No problem."
I told her I was going to play anyway. She's cool.
Yeah. So like a year into it, or maybe not even a whole season in, I had to like actually sit her down to like break it really to her so she could get an understanding. And I was like, I need to express to you all these behind the scenes reasonings that you will probably never know unless I sit here and I express these to you. All these reasons that I have as me, as a man, as an individual, that this is my goal, and I have to do 100% of the effort necessary to accomplish this goal. You know, like, for example, we used to race motocross and race dragsters and do all these other sports, basically, right? It all stems from doing these other sports. And I never reached the highest potential that I wanted to, right? When you're a kid and you're doing, you know, you're playing basketball, for example, right? You go, man, I want to play in the NBA one day, you know? Probably not attainable, right? When you race motocross and race dragsters at the level that we were at with the help and guidance that me and him had, these are obtainable goals. Things happened, and you know, as most people happen in their life, things happen, and we no longer, right? We're not doing it now. We were no longer reaching those goals that I had for myself. And these days, the only avenue I know is through paintball because it's something I stuck with. So I had to sit her down and I said, "This is my goal, and I'm going to reach this goal, and we're going to get there together. Or is that okay with you?" She said, "We're going to get there together. It's no problem." And that's eventually led me to trying out virology. Is I went and I told everybody in my life that needed to know. I said, "I'm going to go try out for this team, and I'm no matter what, I'm going to say no if they offer me the spot. I just want to prove to myself that I have what it takes to maybe play on a team with these people that were on it originally." And I went, and they all sat me down at the end of tryout, and they're like, "We want you to join our team." And I was like, "Holy fuck, you gotta be, I'm like, you gotta be shitting me." I just told everyone no matter what, and I told myself I'm not gonna say yeah. So I left. I called my girl, and I was like, you know, I got a 2.5 hour drive back. It's pouring rain in the middle of winter. And I'm like, "Baby, this is the deal." And she goes, "Okay, let's make it work." And I'm like, "Okay, here we go. No problem." You know, so anyway, yeah, that's the goal, is to go pro, of course, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What,
and to stay pro.
Yeah, of course. What do you think? Like another couple, maybe a year or two in the semi-pro, kind of gaining some experience, maybe ology bumps up, but otherwise like kind of just throwing it down until you feel like you're ready to make that move up?
The goal, of course, is, you know, so we spent 2023 as our first season together as ology. So 23 was basically, is this viable? Can we do this another year? Or are we going to, right? So we did that. And by the end of the season, 100% of the team is on board with the idea that we think we can accomplish the goal and probably win the semi-pro series this year. Which, by the way, I don't want to sound cocky, and I hate putting things into
it's
the
good,
future, but you have to have that goal.
No, for sure. And we actually talked about, I don't know if you saw the interview we had with Colt Lukow from PB Fit, but like there's an important, and then also the one following with Todd Adamson, like there's an important aspect to confidence, right? But being overconfident, right? Confident is also a scary thing, and that's, you know, you could have a lot of bark but no bite, you know.
Right.
Mickey, I'm sure that's something that, like, fuck man, to the nerves and like being able, like in the gambling space, right? That concept as well can really bite you in the ass.
Yeah, of course.
You know, and so you've got to really know. You got to go in there like, I'm gonna win. Like my goal is to win, and I know that I can. But if you're overconfident, you're gonna be sitting there with fucking lint in your hands.
Of course. Yeah. Hey, Colt's the big kid, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I freaking love that kid, man. I think it's so cool to watch that go down. He's a big guy.
Dude, yeah.
He's got limited options out there, and he just goes to work. I just think that's cool to see.
Makes it work for sure.
He's unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
really good.
Yeah, and then that's the other thing, right? Is he? I don't even have it. I'm gonna pull up the picture of him. He's got goals though, right? And that's important. You want to have goals, and be in the position and to the point where you like, okay, I want to get a W. Like my goal is to like, let's get out of prelims. You know, their goal is to win an event, which is a very lofty one in year one. And it's like, once you kind of talk about it a little more, it's like, okay, that's a big one. I'm not going to go into the event being like, we're like 100% I'm better than this team. I'm better than every single guy out here. No, you're going to the match like, I can beat these guys. I know I possess the skills to pull out wins. And I know our team can handle it. So let's make sure we put it all together. Because if you go in too much, then it leads to a lot of disappointment, right? And I think that there's a big balance on how you win and how you lose, and how you approach everything. You know, otherwise, because you can crash hard.
We had last year we had for the second event for Texas. So Ology for the first event got 15th, and then we got 6th in Texas, and then we got 3 9ths in a row. And we're all extremely confident that the reason we only got 9th was because in those quarterfinal matches, we would get like 1 or 2 majors, obviously at turning points, and then it was impossible, you know?
Yeah.
But so we had Troy Erickson play with us last year, and in Texas, none of us, except maybe 2 of the guys on the team and Troy, have ever played really semi-pro ever, right? And so now we're at event 2, and we're like, holy fuck, like we made it onto Sunday, and we're in the quarterfinals, and like, so we have to go play this team, and we're all nervous. You know, don't get me wrong, I'm shitting my pants. You know what I mean? And Troy sits us down, and he goes very, very calmly and very straightforward. He goes, guys, we're here. Just act like you've been here before. It's nothing. It's just another match. Just act like you've been here before. Feel like you can do this, because we can do this. We made it this far. We'll do this. And then we went out and we mercied the team. And I'm like, fucking God, Troy, come on, bro. This is sick, you know? So it's right, like that fine line. Like, I'm full of fear. Almost my entire life, I'm just riddled with fear, and I'm just finding ways to make it through to the next 10 minutes. And you have people like that and thoughts of people saying stuff like that to help guide you, you know, and feel like you're on the right track.
Yeah, dude, Troy's rad. I like Troy. And that was a good kind of like, you see, I think you have a little bit of we got Struggle. Struggle says they're coming for that spot 100%. The Struggle boys.
Go ahead.
Yeah, there it is.
Struggle's a team in semi-pro?
Yeah.
I guess
I think
so.
they're coming into semi-pro.
They're coming into semi-pro or something. I think the semi-pro, I was talking to Tom Cole about it, but I think that semi-pro is going to get a handful of new talent. New teams are bumping up, because now they're like, well, the best 2 teams aren't in it, so now I got a chance, right? So we're
maxed out on teams. You're allowed 30 teams in semi-pro, and all of a sudden there's 30 teams.
It's maxed out. Yeah, it's maxed out. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Collision. When I first agreed to play on Collision, the intention was to play semi-pro this year. So that was a big part of the discussion. So semi-pro seems like a super active division right now.
And I know everybody wants to be in that next. Everybody wants to take that step up. Like that's what a lot of people want to do. Real quick, I just want to talk, because again, I know you guys did all this. You guys already talked a lot to everybody on PTG about this foray that we're moving into with the gambling, and I think it's such a cool concept, and it's something that the sport can definitely benefit from. The players can benefit from. Everybody then has it's just a little bit more skin in the game for people that are watching, and it's like everybody does side bets on their own anyway. But it's pretty cool. I don't know. I know you've already, like I said, we've already talked about it. That you guys have already talked about it a little bit. We talked about it this week. There's a couple of people that are already checking the odds that you guys have up on. There's the Blast Camp first match, and then there's a couple of guys in here in the chat that are already up on the site right now, checking it out. So just like in a really cliff noted, quick, just in case someone hasn't heard the PTG stuff. The thought behind it, where they can go, how we're moving forward with it.
Yeah, for sure. So as I spent more, one and only reason I'm playing paintball at all, so I want to spend more time with my brother.
Yeah,
he used to live with me here in LA. He moved up to Seattle, and I'm like, bro, like, how do we see each other? And he goes, well, every single day I don't work, I spend at the field, so meet me at the field. And I was like, the whole, like, I'm not going to come and not play type. So I was like, I'll play with you. Once I started playing, I was like, cool. We're having, first of all, it's a fun sport, good time, and I'm spending time with my brother, all good. And I came in, you could ask Mark, the first time I played, I surprised everyone, including myself. I wasn't that bad. I think the first point I played after, like, I don't know what it was, 10 years or whatever of not even touching a paintball gun, the very first point, I just ran Dorito side off break and just bunkered as many as I could. And, like, it was just fun.
It worked.
And, yeah, it worked. So anyway, fast forwarding a little, I says to my brother, I was like, why aren't you pro? Like, like everyone's saying, like, you should be playing pro and you're so good and whatever. And he goes, well, I don't have the time with my regular job that I need to spend doing what I got to do to finally make that leap comfortably into the pro division. And I go, well, you got to quit your job if paintball is your passion, if that's what you're going to do full time. And he goes, how do I pay bills? I don't make money in paintball. And I started asking around, and basically, no, there's not that much money being made to be a paintball player. It actually costs most people.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, like, there's no reason that you guys are taking it this serious and doing what you can in it if it's only losing you money. It's like a weird thing for me to hear. I have so many friends that are pro athletes, whether it be NBA, MLB, or, NFL, and I'm thinking, like, I never call these guys and they're like, hold on, I'm on my lunch break. I never hear that. And then I talk to pro athletes from paintball, and they're like, hey, can I call you after work? I don't want to get in trouble with my boss. Yeah. And I'm like, those words don't go together. So we start thinking, like, how can I help Mark make some money so he can quit his job? And the thing with Mark is he refuses to take money from me, and he has a great point to it. His point is, where do we draw the line in our relationship as brothers? He's like, if I take some, then when is enough? And then at what point is he relying on me less as a brother and more as, like a piggy bank? And he doesn't want to tarnish what we have in a relationship. And I go, I respect that. I love that. Get it on your own. Like, I'm here to support you. So we're thinking, like, he's pitching me these ideas he has for businesses to try to make money so he can quit his job and play paintball. And some of them were cool, but I thought it had a lot of challenges. So when I went to Cup, everybody's talking about betting on paintball. It was like the most common conversation, and no matter what division you were in. And I was in the stands, and everyone's doing dollar bets, and that was like so fun, and all this. And so I go over to the VIP tent on the other side of the pro field, and I'm with Mark, and I go up, Tom Cole and Kevin Fillers are standing there, and I'm like, hey, like, I don't know if you're familiar with me. I'm playing in D2, da-da-da. And they're like, yeah, we know, we're familiar. Thanks for being here. And we sit down and start talking, and I go, I could bring gambling to paintball with the snap of my fingers. I serve as a great aggregate between the two cultures. I think it would help legitimize the sport, get you guys more views, get you more retention on your views, which ultimately means dollars. If there's more dollars coming, there's something to pay to players, including my brother would have incentive on why he should just take the leap to stop his job that he's doing now and play full time. We start talking more and more about it, and there seems to be all these other ways to make money. So I connect Mark to a casino. It's called Kirgo.com, and we start discussing it. And I did a lot of the discussion on paintball's behalf only because I speak both languages maybe more affluently fluently than somebody else may. And we came up with this idea, and it was mostly Mark. So Mark's fully to credit, and I'm really happy for that, on how to pay every pro player. So we start going over it with Tom and Kevin, and next thing you know, birthed this whole concept of Kirgo.com adding paintball to the sports book and a way for them to pay 100% of the pro players through the from the NXL and team owners.
Yeah, and that's paying them through signups, like if people bet through their thing. And it's funny because, and again, we're obviously talking to you guys as well. And I was thinking about it, and it was it's almost like it's such a cool concept, and it's such a great way to like get people involved, and then also cast a huge net, because if everybody's allowed to do it, but it actually benefits the teams on the shittier teams, the crappier teams, right? For Dynasty, because we're going to have the fans with the biggest fan base, and they're going to be betting and hopefully betting on Dynasty and then winning, right? That's going to be great for all of them. And it's an interesting kind of structure, and I think it's such a cool, again, great, and then also allows everybody to just be part of the experience as much as they want to be.
Yeah, and something else that I don't think has been discussed yet, I don't know if it has been. So I own 1 billion monthly social media views. Kirgo owns many billion monthly social media views, and they have so many of the biggest celebrities on the planet in their Rolodex and on their team, right? So it is beneficial to Kirgo to utilize all their celebrities and their many billions of monthly views to turn it on to paintball, right? So for them, they have reason and incentive to bring this tsunami of exposure and views to the paintball world. And then me personally, not that I'm incentivized to, but most of my content is who I am and what I live. Like what I'm doing is what I'm posting. So for me, and I have 1 billion monthly views, what I happen to be doing now is playing paintball. So between me, just because that's what I'm doing now, and then between Mark and Kirgo, there's going to be more views,
more eyes
and
on
exposure, and more eyes and demographics that don't even know what paintball is or thinks that it's in the woods, coming to paintball, which every single turn of this just generates more money for the players, the league, and just as a whole sport.
Yeah, and Mickey, what do you have a YouTube channel, or what does your content creation look like? Because obviously you have you're in like a basically a creator's house versus with just people coming in and out, and like you got the full setup. Do you do live streams on different platforms?
So in the near future, I'm probably going to start doing different things. What I mostly do is I make appearances on all the other top creators' channels. Everyone from Logan Paul and Mike Malak to Joe Rogan to Cass Sawyer. You literally name like a top creator, I go on their videos. As a matter of fact, I got D Storm sitting in my kitchen right now. You want him to say hi?
Sure. Yeah.
Yo, D, you sitting over there? Yo, Lavelle, is D sitting over there? Yo, you want to say hi? Yeah, come on, bro.
And that's the other crazy thing is like, dude, just the amount of eyes. It's such a great thing when people with a whole outside.
We're live right now. Just come say hi to the people. These are the top paintball guys in the world.
Yo!
we gonna play some paintballs then.
Let's go.
We're doing it. Yeah, Mickey's gonna. He said that he's gonna shoot you once in the butt cheek. You got the camel pants on already.
So we have the pro teams are all over the world technically, right? Yeah. I mostly play in Temecula at a field called ASG. It's actually in Paris, and I play every Sunday and most Saturdays.
Oh, I'm coming out.
You want to come?
Hell yeah.
Come. And our first event of the year is in Las Vegas. It's the first weekend of March. It's gonna be thousands of people. It's gonna be sick.
I got my scope. I'm coming.
Let's go. All right. I'll see you in Vegas in 2 weeks.
All right. Great job.
Let's go. Good to meet you. Dude, so what I was saying is...
I'm sorry. So I was just saying, everyone from Drake to Lil Baby to guys like this, I appear on all their content. So that's where most of my stuff comes, because I don't make money on the internet. I've never made a single dollar on the internet. I've never done a brand deal. I've never done paid promo. I've never got paid for clicks or views. So for me, I really don't care about growing my own channels and stuff like that. But I do all these appearances with these guys, and so that I do get an appearance fee and stuff like this, and I've never taken a dollar from it. I actually make everyone donate that fee directly to a charity that's called the Innocence Project, where they exonerate wrongfully convicted inmates on death row.
Oh, yeah, I know that one.
Yeah, so I'm real close with Jason Flom, who's one of the founders, and my will is already signed over, so when I pass, the majority of my estate will get donated to them, and I'm working with them on another nonprofit right now that's along the lines of the criminal pursuit of all the wrongdoers from the criminal justice system. So all the cops and the crooked cops and judges and stuff like that, they all get off scot-free. And it's like, you guys play dirty. This guy just did 40 years in prison. He was on death row for a crime he didn't commit. So me and Jason are working, amongst others, on another charity to help pursue them criminally.
I love that. I love that. Yeah. We're all about doing our best. Like the fan base we have here on the show, you guys all rock, man. We did like over 50 grand last year in donations, charitable donations, and we're all about it. Like these guys, we get just a ton of gifts and stuff like that from our sponsors, and then we'll just do like a big charity drive pretty much every quarter at this point. Yeah. For the last couple of years, and we have a tremendous outreach. So next time,
and raising too for players in the community, especially bigger names too that have like a emergency or has had dealing with a crisis in their life. The reach and like has been huge always.
Yeah. As far as crossover with the amount of players, this used to be something that was big back in the day, like early 2000s. We would do this thing, and it's actually funny because when you said that Brian Deegan thing, a ton of people were like, get him on the show, get him to play paintball, all this stuff. But what we used to do, and I don't know why it doesn't happen. I mean, I know why, there's just no contacts. But doing crossover events was such a big thing. We did stuff with Travis Pastrana. We did stuff with Ryan Nyquist. We did stuff with a lot of the skateboarders. Actually, Ryan Scheckler. Like, obviously, Borgor. Obviously, names that were early 2000 names. But it's just such a great refresher to be able to get a new set of eyes, like you said, right? You know, Mark bringing the Kyrgo eyes onto the sport, because someone who was going to gamble on anything on that site might be like, click, what the hell's paintball? That's new. Click on that and be like, huh, I heard about paintball. Oh shit, Ryan Greenspan still plays paintball. You know, like stuff like this. All right, cool. That guy still plays. I get that a lot. But it's such a cool ability to be able to get like new sets of eyes back on there. And then, you know, what about like other crossover things? You know, getting like HK did a good job with it too.
Yeah.
They've been doing a good job of getting guys out there and playing.
And shout out Marky. He's been so good to me before I even got back into paintball, before he knew I even played paintball. What a nice guy, and what a cool guy.
Yeah.
Always fun.
Yeah.
You can't be around him not having a good time.
Yeah.
He's just a solid guy, solid human being. I like Marky.
Oh yeah, those guys are he's hilarious. He's great. I got a funny story I'll tell about Marky off camera about
he's got always energy.
This gummy bear story I got with it.
I remember that. Mickey, one question I want to ask in the Play the Game podcast, you were saying what really helped you in with gambling too is like you took a step back and like not a step back but like a pretty deep introspective look at your game and like why you would think to play a hand and then kind of the results of that, like winning or losing, and then going back and analyzing that. Do you feel like that's helped you in paintball at all? Are you like looking at it that way?
Yeah, definitely, because growing up I was super stubborn and nobody can tell me nothing under no circumstance. And on my own, when I started dissecting my failures and successes in gambling, I had to take a step back and say, wait a second, I was wrong this many times. Here's direct evidence because I lost those hands. So I was like, okay, if my goal is to win, that's my objective, and I'm here to commit to being more successful, then I have to look at what helped me win and what made me lose and adjust that. So when it came to the paintball field, I still to this day, all these years later, still have that train of thought. I go, I popped out here, I got blasted in the head. That was wrong. Why was it wrong? And then I ask guys like you, and I go, why exactly was that wrong? And you go, it was wrong because blah, blah, blah. And I go, okay, what's the right way? And you go, you'd be more successful if you came out over the top or down low or whatever it is. And then I started using that. So that helped me a lot. And still in paintball, it helps me a lot.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and one thing, and I guess this is also trial and error probably in your side, and same with you, Mark, is like one thing I like to do is, or one thing I like to, as far as advice goes, give to people is like when they're still trying to find themselves in that area, it's like everybody's playing this no mistake paintball these days. That's like Damage does it extremely well. Damage executes this so well. But what ends up happening is if everybody tries to emulate that, you get to this point where you're like, as everybody gets better and you're getting better and you're getting better, you begin to play with your fingers crossed. Okay? And by that I mean you're like, okay, I hope this guy makes a mistake. You know, and you don't want to be coming into the semifinals or the finals being like, okay, this has worked so far. Hopefully Mouse gets in the snake and he pops up and I'm able to shoot him. You know? And unless you have 5 guys that are all playing like Marcelo Margot and not making any mistakes and executing everything perfectly on the no mistake side, you're gonna the cookie's gonna start crumbling or the cards are gonna start falling, right? And so what I like and what I tell people to do is like you want to constantly be testing the fence. It's like think of like a cow stuck in a pasture or whatever, and they're just like, is the fence electric here? Ouch. Is it here? Ouch. Is it here? Nope. All right, cool. I'm going to the other side, and I've now broken through this gate, this imaginary gate, or this realistic gate. And so what happens is, like, everybody right now in paintball is just constantly doing the same thing. They're like, go there, don't make a mistake, don't fuck up, and then we'll make the move.
Yeah.
But you gotta like constantly be trial and error as much as you can on the field to figure out where your boundary is. And then you basically have two hands, right? You got a pocket, like a yes pocket and a no pocket. You're like, okay, this worked. So if Mark's like, I'm going to run the route here to the snake, got shot that way. Okay, I'm going to pull up on this next one. All right, the pull up worked. I was able to get in there. I got shot this time. Oh, look at this. I'm getting shot more with my gun in my right hand than I'm a gun in my left hand. Maybe it's because the shooters are a little better over here. And you start to extract data from all of the sets that you're throwing out on the field. And I think, Mark, you kind of already get it because you're like, yeah, I'm just not going to always go point A to point B to point C, right? Yeah. I'm going to sometimes cut around this because you got to try some other options. And that's kind of like the bit of advice that I like to give to people is just kind of constantly be trying to test that boundary, if that makes sense.
All right.
That wasn't too much.
I'm about it. I'm with it.
No, it's good too. Like you can take that everything, obviously experiment and try to like go above and break through those like any like limited beliefs and understand your strengths and weaknesses. And then as you get to the tournament, you're like you have that database of like what you're strong at, what you're weak at, and you're like maybe I know for me if I'm playing Tyler Harmon, I'm not trying to be snap shooting with him because he's a maniac animal at snap shooting. So I'm like, I'll figure out a different way to shoot him and I'll come back to that. Like knowing those, like what your strengths and weaknesses are and kind of like incorporating and understanding that, not versus like, I'm real slow, but I'm going to run to the snake off the break this point. Something like that. Understanding that will also give you a huge advantage too at the tournaments.
Speaking of views and stuff like that, the owner of World Star Hip Hop, real good friend of mine, shout out Danny, he just sent me a text right now just like checking in on me. That's like another guy that's always happy to post my lifestyle stuff. Mm-hmm. So we talk about it all the time. He goes, hey man, let me know what fun stuff you're doing in life so we can post some content across the World Star platforms. So as I'm playing in Vegas and playing in all these events, like this is like another outlet for paintball to get new demographics. He just texted me right now and I thought about it.
Oh, I thought he texted you saying he was watching you on the Spick and Span show.
He's like, YouTube popped up.
I haven't posted in a few months on Instagram. There's only 2 times I posted in the last few months. So I didn't post today that I was going to be on here. This gets hard posted though, right? Afterwards?
Yeah.
Yeah, so when I go back to posting, I'm going to plug this. I'm going to shout it out. I got you. The views will go up and stuff. But Danny, the from World Star, he does watch every piece of content I put out. He's watched everyone. Me and him are real close. He's been super instrumental in me with my branding because he'll tell me, like, first of all, he's a real cool guy. He's an OG, and he's built so many celebrities from thin air that he always tells me. We just took a strong liking for each other, and he's like, hey, man, like, I saw this. It would fit you better if you looked at this perspective or this angle. And so we work on my brand all the time. And he watches 100% of my interviews, all my content, every post, and he's super like instrumental. So he just hits me up. He goes, haven't seen you post. Like, where's your head at? How you doing? Mm-hmm. But he always asks me, like, let me know when you're doing. Like, he posted me I took a bunch of rappers dirt biking. And he's like, make sure you get me all that content so we can blast it on World Star. It went like crazy viral, like hundreds of millions of views because all these other tabloids started picking it up and stuff like that. Yeah, but there's just like another home for.
Dude, let's get him out. And a couple people have mentioned it, like celebrity paintball match at World Cup. We did that actually a couple years ago. There was a tour in town, and Borgor, Waka Flocka, and Steve Aoki. All came out.
Waka's the homie.
Yeah.
And Steve Aoki's my neighbor in Vegas too.
Oh really? Yeah. He loves paintball. We've taken him out a handful of times. He's played a bunch with us.
Yeah.
Cool.
Me and Steve, we actually became friends. We flew on the same plane, and we became friends there. But when I was going to buy the house in Vegas, they dropped his name so heavy as part of the sales pitch. And so when I met him for the first time, I'm like, just so you know. They're telling everybody that this is where you live, hoping we buy the next door house.
Yeah, you need to get a half a point off the sales.
They're telling everyone. Yeah. And we became friends, and Waka's an awesome guy, too. Yeah.
Dude, that guy is hilarious.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Waka, you know what's so crazy about Waka Flocka? So before I ever met him, I was a huge fan. Yes, I love his music, but more than that, his financial literacy is off the charts. He understands financial dynamics more than most of my CPAs do, most of my business advisors do.
Damn.
I mean, it's actually out of control. And the very first time we met, we were in the green room at one of his shows, and it was one of the first things I said to him. And he opens up his phone. So mind you, there's a full party happening backstage in all the green rooms, right? And he doesn't know who I am, right? At the time, this is a little whiles back. And I'm some guy, I was brought in there by DJ Who Kid, right? And Who Kid is Waka's DJ on tour. Mm-hmm. So he brings me to the thing. There's girls everywhere. Everyone's drinking. Everyone's partying. He's about to go on stage. And I just said, hey, man, nice to meet you. I just want to let you know your financial literacy changed the way I handle a lot of my finances. And he goes, really? And I go, yeah. He goes, like what? You know, and I said some of the things that I've seen him say and explain. And I go, this opened my eyes to a way to protect here, insure this, utilize this tool, etc. He goes, yeah, that was from like 10 years ago. He goes, look what I got now. And in the middle of the party, me and him like step to the side and have our own world. And he just shows me like all these breakdowns of different numbers, different channels, different procedures, etc. And it was just so magnificent. And so he and I hit it off on like such a high realm of existence. And he's just always been so on point. What an easy guy to deal with. Nice guy, intelligent, sharp, cool guy.
Oh yeah.
That's cool. That's refreshing to know, right? I always wondered how like the economics of just the economics of even just the creator lifestyle that you guys have, and like getting all those people together to like, you got to do this and that. And like how much, and you guys, everybody's got the nice watches on. It's like, woof, like, well, you guys got a little bit saved up in the tank for a rainy day, right?
If you want to know, if you want to take, it's up to you. It's your show, but I'll tell you like from the inside what a lot of it looks like.
Yeah,
let it rip.
Yeah, let it rip. I mean, we got some time.
All right, so there's a majority of the portion, particularly rappers, but I think it's because a lot of them come from an area that has little guidance or success in certain areas, right? But even outside of the rappers, a lot of like the influencers, TikTokers, YouTubers, they're just such young guys that nobody like. It's very rare that you get a guy who's like a successful influencer who then has a child who can say, hey, this is the mistakes I made. This is what you should do, right? That usually doesn't happen. Right. Because influencing in the internet is so new that anybody famous on the internet's generally first generation famous on the internet. And then rappers as well. I noticed that the vast majority struggle to understand what to do. So they ball out, they buy the cars, the house, the jewelry. A lot of them don't even realize how to pay tax. Then all of a sudden they owe all this back money and they spend the next 2 years touring or making content trying to pay off these debts and these bills. And a lot of them don't save up. You got to think some of these guys are so young, making so much money that they think that's going to last forever. And that's even myself, it was a really hard concept for me to understand. My dad, right, who had been in business, he took his wins and he took his losses in life, would say to me, he goes, hey man, I know you're crushing right now. This will not last forever. You have to consider the next thing or the nest egg or the investment. So this will grow as you attempt all these other new areas in life. And in the beginning, I'm like, nah, Dad, you don't get it. Like you did it this way, which is old fashioned and boring. And I'm doing it this way, which is bright lights and exciting. You don't understand what I'm going through. You got to be wrong. And then the gambling stopped or my certain businesses stopped, whatever it was. It turns out he was right every time. So luckily for me, he was right there to rely on. So there's the vast majority that just don't have the direction, guidance, or maturity to understand what's to come. Then you get a lot of guys that blow up real big and they have the wherewithal to know, like, hey, I'm going to need help. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not an accountant or a CPA. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not this. I'm not an agent. I'm not a manager. I have something here worth money, but I don't know what to do with it. So then they have a next set of problems, which I found a lot of. So many people have contacted me the same way my other friends, and they go, I'm the best manager in the world. I'm the best lawyer in the world. I'm the best agent in the world. Give me access to everything. I'm going to make it protected, insured, safe, invested, spend it, do this. They're all scam artists. Yeah. So all these guys are, unbeknownst to them, making every wrong possible decision with their own well-being because the other guys around them can care less. They're just trying to get that bag and that check while they can, despite how much it's hurting the actual talent, right? So luckily for me, I didn't start content while like being a kid living in my parents' house, started making money, and I go, this is my job now. I came the opposite. I made money in life while I was against social media. Entered social media, and I go, you're never going to persuade me to do anything I don't want because I already have what I want, you know? So you're never going to take advantage or trick me. So luckily I saw it from the other side. So all these managers that are coming to me trying to like con me, I'm like, buddy, I'm the reason both of us are going to make money. I'm the success. I did it. That's why you're coming to me. How are you going to tell me how to make money? I already made the money, you know? And so I watch a lot of these kids struggle, not even always kids, adults, young adults also, struggle to find the right team. And guys like Waka, for example, who came from like an area that didn't have a proven track record of success in financial literacy, he was capable. And he's such a smart guy. He found the right people to put around him. And there's a lot of trials and tribulations. But then you do have some guys who hit it correctly and are capable and well-rounded to handle a lot of their own, whatever it may be. Mm-hmm. But the higher up the scale you go, the smaller that part goes. Yeah.
That's it's interesting, you know, because you'll see content creators, or you'll see this lifestyle that everybody exudes in everything. You know, they're living in the big mansion, or you've got the creators' houses, or you've got people driving these cars, and sometimes it's a fugazi, sometimes it's the actual real deal. But I always wonder kind of how the economics of that all works, and how, you know, it trickles down, and really like who pays the bills, and like how do you split things, and like it's just and how real is it? But I think it's great, man. It's such a, because I grew up and I don't even think YouTube was invented when I was in high school, you know. Yeah. And I'll see the boomer cool comments here in a second.
It's like somebody will blow up, for example, on the internet, and then all these people will contact them saying, I can help you, I will protect you, I will get you to the next step. And they have to be really careful who they pick, because there's a small percentage of them that are truly successful, truly have everyone's best interest, and truly can do all these things they promise. And then a huge majority of them are just like, pick me, let me sell you a dream and really hand you a nightmare. I'm going to get paid despite your failure. Yeah. So you have to make sure you're picking the right team around you, which is super common.
Like how we met. There might have been a...
Exactly. Exactly. But it worked itself out.
It did. Yeah, it did.
And by the way, in no way am I talking negative about the particular person who introduced us. You know, he had his own, we all know, you know, he has his own set of life issues going on. And what have you. But he always had good intention, and he did introduce me to a lot of solid people, including you and Mouse, and I'm grateful for it.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome, dude. Hey, one more, Mark. I have one for you that I just wanted to just give a shout out. I loved. You still in here? Still there?
Yeah.
We have the zoom on, switches.
The camera view was kind of funky a second ago. Dude, I want to shout out PB Authority and Ron Butler. Dude, R.I.P. man. That guy was such a great dude, man. He was like the best thing. I think that one of the best things that happened to East Coast, and definitely Jersey in paintball for sure, in the mod squad. He was awesome. I heard you kind of giving him some props out there on the PTG show, and just having such a great setup at the field that like drew your attention in. Because, you know, one of the things I always say to fields is, I'm like, look, tournament paintball, don't hide that somewhere else at your park. Like, it's okay that walk-on players and new players see that. It's not going to scare away your entire demographic. What is going to happen is, if you have it set up properly and you show people that there's like a way to grow in this sport, or that you can, rather than just being like, keep the birthday parties over here and keep these loudmouth, painful looking tournament players over here, right? You want that intermingle, because if you do it right, like how Ron did it, you're going to get guys like yourself, or like Marcelo or Kyle, same thing. Like they saw there was a tournament side of things. I mean, especially when you cut your teeth on an indoor, like nothing scares you at that point. I heard you guys talking about that too. I share the same.
Didn't Richie Butler go and play for the Hurricanes?
I think so.
Did he? He might have. I don't recall. But the New England Hurricanes are back in the day, right? With Rico Gigliotti and his brother,
Rico,
I think, right?
Rico Suave lost all his teeth when he was like 19.
It was the old school Hurricane climb was unreal, and they were oh my goodness, Richie was unreal as well, man. I seen Richie 2 years ago or 3 years ago at the Philly event playing 10-man. It was so sick to see him too. Yeah. Yeah. Ron was unreal. And the way that he had his field set up was, I've never in my life seen something like this. And it truly was incredible. And like, so the field that I play at most often, my local field, is KC Crusaders. You came and did a clinic there. Dude, the guys got like your autograph tattooed on their ass or something.
Yeah.
He's got a bunch of those.
Yep. That's my local field. It's KC Crusaders in South Prairie, Washington.
Yeah. Shout out to that field.
And yep, absolutely. And the way they have it set up is, again, amazing. It's, you pull in and the whole parking lot is there, and you have no choice but to park at the airball field and walk past the whole airball pits and field to get to the rec ball staging area, to get to the pro shop where you pay everything. And we're always coming and getting, it's not far, it's 40, 50 feet from the airball, whatever it is, to the pro shop to get our paint, right? And I'm constantly walking back and forth, getting this and helping out there. And Tim, the owner of the field, is always coming back to us. And it's the best thing you could do, because every time you're there and you're looking over, you see all these rec ball players looking at us and slowly coming over in groups and kind of being precautious. And, 99% of paintballers love and respect and courtesy. And we're always just like, yo, you want to hop on the field and play? We'll be on your team. Or, they ask about the gun. Do you want to shoot the gun? Like, and of course, eventually these guys and these girls are coming and playing speedball once a week, once a year, once a month. Now they find out there's professional players, there's divisional players. We travel the world and play, and you're right. And you're opening your eyes to this because it's so readily available for them.
Oh yeah.
No, for sure, dude. And you know what? You want to know my favorite thing about your park is? And it's not the rain. It's not the rain.
Okay. Good.
So I went there in the summertime, and I was actually told, don't get comfortable. This is not what it's like. It's like this, like a 1 month out of the whole year. You guys have a glacial fed river right on the other side. I'm like, dude, we're done playing. Like, when we're after the practice, I'm like, everybody jump in the river. Like, it was sick. It was that's like, what a beautiful place, man. Underneath, what is that, Mount Rainier right there?
Yeah, right under Mount Rainier. So at all times you see this freaking volcano, which people out here are nuts. They don't even, they pretend it's not a volcano.
Oh yeah, you guys are the first ones to go, man. It's yeah. You live there. I've seen, what was that movie with Pierce Brosnan? Fucking the volcano blows. Yeah. Just make sure you keep your eyes on the seismometer over there. All right, I'm worried about you.
It's a beautiful field, and the river comes through. And so what they do, I think they do it once a year at the field, is they have a 24-hour game for 24 hours, and they have huge floodlights out there's like 20 acres of woods ball or something like that. And he's actually making it bigger right now. And for 24 hours, you play paintball in the woods on all sorts of different variations, and they have all sorts of different games to play on certain fields and stuff. It's unreal for 24 hours. I highly recommend anybody who plays paintball in any realm comes and plays paintball for 24 hours.
I don't know how that works exactly, but yeah, I'm into it. That's sick.
And they have Tim, who's a huge advocate for his own group, which is the LGBTQ, which shows that it's not just a masculine-dominated sport. And we love Tim for that, and, we're happy to have him in the community.
We love Tim.
Love Tim. Hell yeah. Awesome, dude. Well, guys, dude, this has been a rad conversation. I'm stoked that it was like just supernatural, not supernatural like spooky, but like super very natural conversation.
That's what we like to do on our show, just kind of give like in-depth look of people's personality versus it being like a very like structured podcast setting where it's like you get to see people and what's going on in their life and what they're into.
Yeah. So definitely going to see you guys both in Vegas. Mickey, I'll see you this weekend. I'll be at ASG this weekend for sure. Then
you guys going to stay for the award show Sunday?
I'll be in Vegas past Sunday. So like I'm
Maybe.
there, whether I'm committed to showing for the award show or not. I mean, I'd say probably. What if it's going to be so much fun? I don't know how I'm going to miss it, but I'll definitely be in town. Yeah. I'd probably be at the award show. Yeah.
It should be cool. That's the first time they've ever done that. So.
Yeah. It's gonna be it'll hopefully be really cool, man. There's gonna be a bunch of awards.
Alex is emceeing, so it'll be funny.
Alex is emceeing, so it'll definitely be funny. I've got some Hall of Icon awards that are gonna be going up, so more players are gonna be inducted into the basically the Hall of Fame, and then Marcelo's going to win a bunch of awards, and PTG's going to win a bunch of awards. So we'll be there to watch all that.
I have my money on Joe Barrett winning Defensive Player of the Year.
Can we wait? Hang on. Can we? I'm just saying we, like we're in the conversation. Can we can we put betting on that sort of stuff or no?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, who's gonna win what award? That's pretty good.
Like, is that something like, because I don't know who it is, but I mean, is it?
I think they're gonna live stream
We're gonna live stream it. Yeah, that'd be cool.
So that can be done. Mark handles all that stuff the same way Mark handles all the relationships, all the pro players to get them onboarded for their money and their payments or whatever. But I know that for Vegas Event 1, Kirigo's going to have many things to bet on, more than what's available right now on the website. It's going to be everything. Come Vegas, it'll be, I don't remember all of them, but it'll be like match winner, first point, first kill, tournament winner, championship winner, over-under on each one of the team scores, who makes it to the prelims, who makes it to the quarters and the finals. I forget what else, but I've seen the list. It's pretty long. And with each event, they will be adding more and more things you can bet on, like most penalties, most blah, blah, all these different things. The thing with paintball and gambling is this is the first time it's ever been done. So all the data, although there's a lot of you guys that have offered us data and we've used the data, and thank you to every brand and company who's given it to Kirigo and to Mark. But in real life, like as the events go and more data is made available firsthand through Mark and his other team, business team, they're going to be adding more and more things to bet on. But they're going to start with whatever I just said plus a few more.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Yeah, and so I've shared the link in there. I know a bunch of you guys are already jumping in there, touring the world, as some of you guys have said. So check it out on Kirigo. The link is here in the description. If you guys need it, let me know. We can get you guys a link.
And if you can't access it, you need to figure out a way to put yourself in a different state through your computer.
Different country, most likely.
State or country. There's a way.
Yeah, there's a way. Let us know if you need help with any of that stuff, and I'm definitely eager to see the direction that it goes. And the new concepts and like what you said, like all the other elements that are gonna be there. Plus, with the stats dropping too, as soon as that gets more dialed in, there's just gonna be a lot more access to it, and giving everybody out there a little bit more. While you're watching it already, you can now just have a little bit more skin in the game.
Yeah, it's exciting.
If you want, if you so choose, you know what I mean. Like,
I'll tell you this too. Any ideas you guys have for future paintball betting markets, which means like things to bet on? Just talk to Mark about it. You guys will figure it out. Mark's accessible to every pro player, obviously. He's the guy. So you have a cool idea. You want the award show? I'm sure he'll figure something out. I don't know. You want realistically, I don't know if he'll get that done in time, the award show this time. But
yeah, he's like, oh man, I got too much stuff on my plate already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a real job, guys. Let me live a little.
No, it's all right. I had your questions today were expensive because I was writing them in my car and a cop pulled up next to me and just looked at me in disgust, and then he's like, nice little cell phone ticket.
All right, guys. Well, this has been a killer episode. We'll get it up on it'll be up on the major podcast things, and then the live link will be here on the tube for anybody to rewatch it. We'll send you guys some links and some. We'll get some stuff cut up of what we're talking about and send over to you guys in the chat.
Then shoot me a message too. We'll with some inspo of what you're thinking for the headband.
Oh yeah, Tiger Wear collab.
Got you.
And then I'll see you this weekend, and Mark, I'll see you in Vegas for sure, and we'll
100%.
Chat. Hell yeah, man. Good luck. I hope you guys have a productive practice. Also, I'm crossing my fingers that it doesn't rain for you guys. You know what I mean? Like I know it's.
No, we'll be in California. We'll be in California.
Oh, where are you gonna be?
ASG, buddy. Come on, the best
there you go.
Okay. All right. Well, there we go.
Why go anywhere else?
I don't know. I thought Casey Crusaders was, you know what I mean? I thought that was your gig.
You got the Pacific Northwest Best, and then you got
you got the SoCal Best. All right.
I got some of Dynasty and all of Ology staying with me for layout.
Oh,
really?
Nice.
Who's staying with you?
I don't want to put all your teammates on blast, but based on your response, it seemed like not everybody did.
I don't think they told him.
I'm just wondering who's staying with you on layout weekend because we're practicing in Sacramento, so it's obviously someone not in California.
You normally drop it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I played it after you left the other week. I played against you guys, and they go, "This is worth practicing against more. We'll learn some things." So they go, let's screw Sac. We're gonna play at ASG.
That's when you played. I was like, man, when did he play? I swear he wasn't in there. It was after I
like
left.
literally right after you left. While you were still there, I wanted to get more spins that day, but there were so many pro teams. It was hard to get as many spins. I mean, I want every spin. You know what I'm saying? So I'll always want more. So I was talking to Harrison, and I was just like, bro, I'll play with you. I'll play against you. I will play anything, And when you left, some of the other players left, and some of the spots opened up, so I ran then.
There you go.
All right. It's Harrison then.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah,
for sure. He doesn't know where he's flying into for the layout weekend practice, but he can be with you. He can hang with you. I'm all right with it. He said he was also going to fix my sink, so I don't know.
Can Blake not?
He's all over the place. I don't know if Blake's coming. Blake's having a kid.
Oh yeah,
Blake's having a kid here. So yeah. You actually look, Mark. You look like Blake's cousin. Yeah. Brother, cousin.
That's cool.
That's cool.
Well, Blake's an incredibly beautiful man, so I'm on board.
I was just about to say he's a handsome man. So there we go. He's got a little bit more gray in that beard, though. All right, guys. Again, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. We'll chat later more this week, and I'll see you guys this weekend.
Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
Later. Awesome, man. Well, hey, everybody, this was an XL version. That was a cool conversation, awesome, man. Obviously, bet at your own risk. We're not.
Time flew by too. I was like, I looked up and I was like, oh, it's been 2 hours.
I was watching it just because it's Camille's birthday today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go cook her dinner. Hopefully she's still awake. Mama Bear goes to bed early these days.
Oh yeah, we gotta get out. We gotta get out of here.
We gotta get out of here.
You're gonna be in the doghouse, which you probably already.
I like how you said we are gonna be in the doghouse. You're not gonna be in the doghouse.
No, no, I didn't say we.
We are
take my ass back to my new apartment. But I'm probably in the doghouse too because when I walked in, I forgot it was her birthday and I didn't say happy birthday.
It's okay. I meant to text you.
Thank you for not.
Well,
I didn't.
I just had other stuff going on.
Thank you.
I know. I had other stuff. I don't know. I should have.
What can we wrap up in here?
We've got. I don't know. We'll have some wrapping paper up here.
All right.
Does she want a new Force? We can give her one. We can give her this.
There's an energy drink.
There's an energy drink, Force, some nectar. I've got these frame goggles.
Give
her that pink shirt.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. We're gonna search the garage for a birthday present for Camille. I appreciate everybody's support. We'll see you guys next week for a special show.
Boom.